How time turns, Rajdeep. Usually, and several of our viewers would recall this in the morning, there'd be a lot of activity at the BJP headquarters, and the only image we'd catch at the Congress headquarters is ironically a dog on the lawns, right? I mean, that's all that you'd say on the Congress headquarters. Now, completely different. Rahul Gautam's got all these guys playing drums, and Piyush Mishra reporting that there's nothing happening at the BJP headquarters.
I mean, this is a very different election. Jammu, clearly the exit polls have suggested that the Congress is on the upswing. But before we go to Rahul Gautam, let me just go across the table to ask very quickly, 30 seconds each, what all our panelists are looking forward to most today. Preeti, why don't you kick it off? What are you looking forward to most today?
Taking off from what also Rahul stated, what's also different this time, where the Congress is concerned, Rajdeep, is usually where they think that they're winning in Haryana, because clearly they think they're winning, that's why they got the doles out. They have already started speaking with certain independents. I've just got a message from an independent who's poised to win, in Ambala, or looking that she might win. And they're already in touch with these independents saying, just in case we need you, you need to be with us.
I would be
they're very comfortably
Okay. What are you looking forward to most, Rahul Verma? Quickly.
I think for me, 2024 pointed out that there is bipolarity developing in state party systems, whether this will continue or not. And the reason is BJP can only come to power if the verdict is fragmented in both states.
Okay. Amitabh.
See, I think if you see in Haryana, the performance of JJP is key. What is the extent of the level of decimation of the JJP will decide whether Congress wins a simple majority or a significant majority.
Okay, so they won 10 seats last time. You're going to look forward to seeing whether they completely get decimated and whether there is bipolarity as a result.
And in J&K, we have to see what happens in the Muslim majority Jammu region, which has 16 seats. 6 seats are reserved for STs. So this social engineering which BJP is trying to do, will it be able to gain in the Muslim majority Jammu is what we'll have to see.
Rajat.
Two cases, Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir, very different approaches of the BJP in both the states. They were pushed against the wall in both these states. They did a lot of groundwork in Jammu. They were not winning anywhere between 12 to 15 seats at a point in time. But from there, looking to go beyond 30 requires a lot of engineering, social engineering, political engineering that they were able to do. Supposedly, but in Haryana, they were not able to course correct at all. So I think the important learnings will have to be picked and then sort of used in other states like Jharkhand and Haryana.
Okay, we're getting leads for 3 seats at the moment for the BJP in Haryana, just 1 for the Congress, but these are very early postal ballots. Very quickly, Yashwant, what are you looking forward to most?
Not Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir. Mostly Haryana, I mean, it could be this way, that way, that's okay, sweep or simple majority. But J&K, particularly keeping in mind, I want to see by the end of the day what Jammu throws up and what kind of power equationing Jammu gets in the final power sharing in Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, so
that's important for
me.
Okay, can I just come in for a bit? Just, for a 10 second, because in Haryana, it's not so much whether JJP or the INLD. It will come down to only one thing, how the Congress does, and that will come down to how the independents do. JJP was finished in Lok Sabha. You saw that. Now how the INLD does and how the independents do. That will decide the figure of the Congress.
Okay, as I said, the early trends, Haryana, BJP leading in 4, Congress in 1, but these are postal ballots. And of course, they may not necessarily give an indication as to what lies ahead. But as we saw in the morning, the celebrations have started at the Congress office, but are they premature? Is the question that will be asked. Because if these trends, and these are very early, not even 5 minutes old trends, then of course the BJP could well claim that the pollsters have egg on their face. But we'll wait and see.
This is as good a time as any to rev up the election intelligence dashboard. And I just want to explain something to you, because as you see the numbers for Jammu and Kashmir, you will see a swing mentioned alongside. So NC and Congress together, the PDP, the AIP along with the 10 Jamaat supported candidates, and the BJP. Now remember, the last assembly in 2014 had 87 seats. That's now gone up to 90. Jammu's gone from 37 to 43. Kashmir from 46 to 47. The reason that you will see a swing, actually they're not comparable, because you had 87 seats the last time, you have 90 seats this time. How we've been able to equalize is by going down to every single polling center and adding the votes at the polling center. And therefore, you're able to compare these 90 seats with hypothetical 90 seats from the 2014 elections. So I just want to make that very clear in case you're wondering how are we able to compare when the number of seats, the base itself has changed. So that's an important note to look at. The election intelligence dashboard up and running, but very, very complex this, Rajdeep, this time because of delimitation. So a lot of what would earlier be very easy to achieve has taken much more effort because they've changed the base, and delimitation of this kind, you know, just makes things a data nightmare.
Okay, when we are looking at the lead, just to point out in Haryana, the leads for the BJP are coming from the Ahirwal belt. This is the area around Gurugram. Remember, relatively parts of Ahirwal belt are more urbanized.
Basically, urban Haryana.
The BJP will be looking, they did very well there last time, Preeti, in Ahirwal, in the Ahirwal belt. Strong Yadav presence there. The likes of Rao Inderjit Singh, his daughter, contesting there. That's where the BJP, 2 out of 28 from Ahirwal, both the leads going to the BJP at the moment. The BJP also leading at the moment in both the seats. 3 out of the 4 seats where we are getting trends from Kurukshetra. Again, this is an area where BJP did very well last time. They'll hope to continue to do well. In Jharkhand, we still haven't got seats at the moment. And in Bagar at the moment, also 2 others. And remember, this is where the JJP will hope to make a dent. But these are very early trends. So
It
please
will come down. Rajdeep, for the BJP, it will come down to 2 areas, the GT Karnal belt and the Ahirwal belt.
Okay,
These are the factors to watch out for.
Initial 1 or 2 hours, first of all, it's going to be postal ballots. Majority of the leads you are going to get very early in the day are going to be the urban pockets.
So the leads that we have at this moment from Haryana for the BJP are from Ambala City, Faridabad, Gurgaon, Kalka and Yamunanagar. The Congress is currently leading on 2, down 1 from the last time. These are from Julana, Narayangarh and Panchkula. A lot of interest also in Vinesh Phogat's seat and whether she wins. Did you manage to wrestle with her or not?
No, look, I have realized what a tough sport wrestling is. I went to the academy where Vinesh first started, and there was this young girl, 16-year-old Neha Sangwan, who many say is going to be India's first gold medalist Olympic champion. She's already Asian champion, Asian junior champion. And when you hear the thud with which you're thrown on the mat, you realize, man, I want to do something else in life. She was young, she was tough, she was trying to show me how do you do a double lock of someone.
Did she throw you on the mat or not?
I said, dekho, aisa hai, boss. Purana, you know, I am a Maharashtrian who struggles to sort of get out of bed in the morning.
But Rajdeep, you know, for a moment.
You Haryanvis are very tough.
No, for a moment. I want to say this. For a moment, a wrestler's life is not easy.
Not at all.
7 hours of practice. For a wrestler to move on to the national stage, it's over a lack of investment even before they can look for a sponsor. The kind of diet that they need, it's a tough job.
No, it is. I'm reading Sakshi Malik's biography at the moment. Not just a tough job. Even the clothes that they wore, there was a lot of resistance, social conservatism. Should we send our daughters out there? That's all changed. Out of the 20 people out there, there were 12 girls and 8 boys. And the coach told me the girls are much better than the boys.
Because they have hunger. Rajdeep, because they have hunger.
Always better than the boys in any damn field.
I'll have to say this. I come from a state, and that's the only reason why I can criticize it. Haryana remains a deeply patriarchal state. And I can say it because I come from there. The girls have hunger.
Okay. So we've got leads now in Jammu and Kashmir on 4 seats. The NC is leading on Gandarbal. The BJP 3 leads at this moment, very initial. And these leads are coming from Hiranagar, Jammu East and Jammu West. So those are the leads for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Very initial leads these. And those leads, Rajdeep, are currently suggesting that in Haryana, the BJP is at 9, the Congress at 5.
You know, the problem with this election, particularly in Jammu and Kashmir, is going to be where do the leads come from? If the leads first start coming in more from Jammu as they traditionally do, the BJP will feel relatively happy. They won 25 seats last time. There were 37 only in Jammu. Now with delimitation 43, they'll hope to do better there. In Haryana, if the seats start coming in from the urban pockets, the BJP may get a disproportionate benefit there, but then you'll have to go to rural Haryana. So it's actually 2 or 3 elections in one. In both these states, Haryana may not be by the end of the day, but in Jammu and Kashmir, certainly. And because of what was just now said about the Pahadi seats, the ST seats, for the first time, you have reserved 6 seats. Which way will they go? I think these are the factors. There are lots of micro factors operating, particularly in Jammu and Kashmir.
So we've got Omar Abdullah leading in Gandarbal, up against Qazi Farooq of the Apni Party and the Democratic Azad Party, Kaisar Sultan currently trailing. So very initial leads. We've also got leads from Kupwara, where Nasir Aslam Wani is currently leading against Sajjad Ghani Lone of the People's Conference. Now, Sajjad Lone, again, we spent some time with him during the campaign, finds himself in this position where he's having to explain again and again to voters that he is not a BJP agent. Because he called Prime Minister Modi his bada bhai, that's kind of got stuck to him, and he's constantly having to explain that he's not a proxy for the BJP, and some of these parties have had to deal with that, Rajdeep, during the campaign.
And think about it, both Sajjad Lone and Omar Abdullah are contesting 2 seats each. Sure. When you start contesting 2 seats each, you know that things are not too good. Omar Abdullah, who started off this election saying, I won't contest at all, is contesting both Badgam and Gandarbal. Gandarbal, of course, the seat of his grandfather, the great Sheikh Abdullah.
I think Omar was shocked with the Lok Sabha result, and probably also because I think he left his home turf and went somewhere else to contest in that way.
Yeah.
So all said and done, I mean, his anxiety is explained well. I mean,
And 2 seats from one region. So Sajjad Lone is contesting 2 seats from
both the
North
seats from the
Kashmir.
same home.
That's right.
And he is contesting from Central Kashmir, both the seats.
You know, it also shows how Kashmir politics is changing. Many of the older families who took their seats for granted no longer can take any seat for granted. I mean, Mehbooba Mufti is not even contesting. She's got her daughter there from Bijbehara. You've got Sajjad Lone, again from the family of Abdul Ghani Lone, who's contesting 2 seats. You've got Sheikh Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah, and now Omar Abdullah's traditional seat of Gandarbal, but I also need Badgam as a kind of a backup almost. So you've got very interestingly in Kashmir new parties
And
emerging.
it is a battle of credibility and existence for someone like a Mehbooba Mufti. That press conference, that ill-fated press conference from her perspective with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, where she talks about the protesters and the stone pelters and they're not having toffee and cake, it's kind of again marred her image in the eyes of the voters. And we saw during the campaign Iltija Mufti on occasions trying to distance herself from the politics of her mother. So Mehbooba Mufti facing this crisis of existence, the exit polls done by Yashwant and the others seem to suggest that there is a real challenge in being able to get a fair enough number of votes. Whether that continues on counting day is something that we are tracking very closely. Here are the Congress leads in Haryana. Currently leading in the reserved seat of Bhavani Kheda, Dadri, Firozpur, Gadhi Sampla, Jhajjar, again a reserved seat, Julana, Narayangarh, Nu, Panchkula and Punhana. These are the seats where the Congress is currently leading on. The BJP not performing as badly as some may have anticipated initially, up 1 from the last time, but that's also, remember, very, very early leads. Ambala City, Ateli, Badshahpur, Ballabgarh, Faridabad, Gurgaon, Khalkha, Kosli, Ladwa, which is where the Chief Minister comes from, Narnaul, Shahabad, Sohna, Tosham and Yamunanagar. Those are the leads for the Bharatiya Janata Party at this moment.
One trend that is emerging in the Jatland seats, and Preeti, you could please dive in on this, all the seats at the moment, the 3 leads, all with the Congress. And therefore...
Tosham BJP is leading.
No, we've divided it between Bagar and Jatland. So we've given 2 regions. Tosham is, of course, where there's the battle between Shruti Chaudhary and Anirudh Chaudhary. That's Bansi Lal's, correct me if I'm wrong.
Both grandchildren.
Bansi Lal's grandchildren are fighting each other. Shruti Chaudhary, daughter of Kiran Chaudhary, versus Anirudh Chaudhary, son of Ranbir Mahendra, who's the son of Bansi Lal. There at the moment, BJP leading, but broadly Jatland, or in fact now all 6 leads, all the 6 leads in Jatland.
So the Jat vote, Rajdeep, has consolidated behind the Congress. What's really interesting is if you look at this one seat, I'll tell you what are the seats to watch out for. Bhavani Kheda is a seat where the Congress did not want the candidate in terms of the local leadership. This was a man who was bought in, Pradeep Narwan, who was bought in to fight this as he's a JNU student. He's a Dalit face. He was a pick of the Gandhis, and he was practically given to the constituency that he will be fighting it. There was a lot of local resentment. Many thought he won't be expected. Number 1.
Outside of the numbers that we're tracking on the election intelligence dashboard, Yashwant has his team at C-Voter on these counting centers as well, and he'll give us a quick sense of what the C-Voter numbers are saying.
The C-Voter numbers, we have 46 leads so far in Haryana, and actually in totality, Congress is leading in 35 and BJP at 11. And if you go into region very quickly, in Ahirwal, it's 12 4 in favor of the Congress. In Bagar, it's all 6 going in favor of Congress. In Jatland, all 6 going in favor of Congress. And in Kurukshetra, it's more of a contest. It's 11-7, but in favor of Congress.
Yashwanji, can you repeat the Ahirwal number? Is it in favor of the Congress?
It is in favor of the Congress.
That's the worry point.
12-4
in favor of the Congress, Rajdeep, is a huge worry for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
No,
right
if
now.
these numbers hold, we've been talking wave, Andhi, tsunami. These numbers at the moment suggest Andhi. Tsunami will be a complete wipeout.
1 second. What is the difference between a wave and an Andhi?
I'll tell you what the thing is. 90 seats on offer. In my view, 50 plus is a wave, 60 plus is Andhi, 70 plus is tsunami. Correct me if I'm wrong, the best performance in Haryana has been Devi Lal, and that was way back in the 1980s. He got 67 seats.
You get even Hooda got 67 in
2005.
Yeah, but that, so therefore nobody's crossed 70. Yeah. Nobody's crossed 70 out of 90 in Haryana. If you cross 70 out of 90, I would say it's a tsunami. If it's 60 plus, it's Andhi. If it's 50 plus, it's a wave.
What's about 80?
Sorry?
80 पे क्या है definition?
80 पे tsunami के आगे क्या जाओगे आप
Jalebi. 80 is a jalebi.
Super tsunami होगा. But look, that's still premature. But yes, Preeti is right. The Ahirwal trend clearly shows that in an area that the BJP dominated in 2019, if that starts shifting, because Jatland is a sweep. There are 14 seats. There are 14 seats. Vinesh Phogat, Bhupinder Singh Hooda, all of them are leading. They're leading in Rohtak, Julana, Jind. Rohtak constituency is a clean sweep at the moment. Jind.
Okay.
Jind was
I will correct your
last time JJP. Jind and Sirsa were last time JJP.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting is the 3 independents who are leading right now. Gopal Kanda is leading from Sirsa. You have Savitri Jindal who's leading from Hisar. And interesting, the other lead Ambala can't right now, but initial, which is Chitra Sarwar.
Against
Anil Vij.
Can I just shift the gear to Jammu Kashmir once, because we've got 35 leads at the C-Voter Center, and majority of them from Jammu region. BJP is leading 25-1 in Jammu right now. And in the valley, it's 8-1 in favor of the NC Congress. So 1 is others and 8 to NC and Congress.
Okay, so are we seeing a complete split between Jammu and Kashmir?
Initially, it is looking like that it is a one-way right now in BJP, for BJP in Jammu, and one-way right now for NC Congress in. But these are very, very initial leads, I must say.
So the leads that we have from the Jammu region has the BJP leading on 13 and the NC Congress alliance on 2, out of which 1 is for the NC and 1 is for the Congress. The BJP is leading at 13. So 2, Rahul Verma, very different elections. The election in Jammu and the election in the Kashmir Valley are as different can be.
Yeah, this was like it was evident even in 2014. It's one factor of demography, right? Jammu is Hindu dominated, Kashmir is Muslim dominated. But I think the sentiment in Kashmir is going to be very, very different, something which you all were talking about, where I think in some ways it's going to be a polarized kind of atmosphere on the question of what happened in Jammu and Kashmir, on the question of statehood, on the question of reorganization and delimitation. So you will see that polarization playing in both parts.
And Rajat, this is where we must spend some time talking about how the BJP is being able to come back from Jammu. Their internal polls, and our viewers need to know this, were suggesting that in Jammu there were between 12 to 15 seats initially. It's over the past few weeks, to the effort that they've made, that they've been able to shore up their fortunes in the Jammu region. Otherwise, Jammu was looking like a tough fight for them.
So I think, you know, BJP's game plan in Jammu was to spoil the NC Congress party. Otherwise, Congress was brought into the NC alliance together, was to push its weight in the Muslim-dominated Jammu seats and ensure that out of those 16 seats, Congress was able to do substantially good and at least bring in those numbers and bring the valley numbers together and easily cross the 50 mark and possibly form a government. And this is where I believe Congress, after allying their dilly-dallying position on 370, when 370 wasn't an election issue, because of the dilly-dallying of the Congress party and making some absurd statements that they are going to bring back 370, they polarized Jammu to an extent that BJP was able to successfully lap in, bring in an aggressive campaign over there, something that they were not able to do in the state of Haryana, because there was no reason to actually polarize.
Just to show some of the candidates, because it gives a sense of Haryana. Chandar Mohan lost 2019, the other son of
Deputy CM, former Deputy CM.
That's right, of Bhajan Lal is leading at the moment in Panchkuya. Nayab Singh Saini leading for now in Ladwa, the chief ministerial candidate, but Vinesh Phogat is leading in Julana. She could make an impressive debut as a politician. Anil Vij is now leading in Ambala Kant, but lots of the sons and of Congress leaders are leading. In Kaithal, Aditya Surjewala, son of Randeep Singh Surjewala, is leading there at the moment. Dushyant Chautala is trailing in Uchana Kalan. Now this is someone, Deputy Chief Minister, won 10 seats last time, is trailing in a constituency where he's been Lok Sabha MP in 2014 and Vidhan Sabha in 2019.
Well,
and
Rajiv,
Aditya Devilal, the
Rajiv,
grandson I think of Devilal, is again trailing in Dabwali. So you've got INLD and JJP clearly taking a hit in these early days.
You speak of Chandra Mohan, one of the sons of Chaudhary Bansi, Bhajanlal,
the other grandson.
The other grandson is Aditya
Yes.
Vaishnoi, and he's trailing from Adhampur, but he's on a BJP ticket while Chandra Mohan is on a Congress ticket.
You know,
So
and
the
I
family is also
very
split.
quickly, we have
And,
got...
and Adhampur would be very, just to give you a fact, Adhampur would be very, very interesting because the Bhajan Lal's family has never lost there.
Since 68.
Yeah, so that's
1968.
about
It's a
what,
56
years.
yeah.
Representatives of Bhajan Lal's family have never lost. Now, if you start losing because he's contesting on a BJP ticket, that is bad news for the BJP.
Uchana Kananan is another, it's a legacy seat.
Yeah, that's
of,
right. So,
Devi
so some
Chaudhary
of the
Devilal.
legacy seats of Bhajan Lal and Devi Lal's family are struggling.
It'll be interesting who actually walks away with the air tag now, the official air tag in Tosham of Bansi Lal's family, because both grandkids now fighting against each other.
Trends that's playing out in the Kashmir Valley is the fall in the PDP's seat share. Remember, the NC and the Congress are up at 11, which is 5 up from the last time, and these are all coming from the PDP, which is at 1 down 5. So the collapse of the PDP vote, and remember,
Two royal collapses, Rahul. One is PDP in Kashmir Valley and JJP in Haryana.
Sure.
So these are the two collapses we need to keep
and remember, a lot of the PDP vote was the soft separatist Jamaat kind of vote bank, where you've now got the likes of Engineer Rashid vocalizing that more aggressively. You've got independent Jamaat-backed candidates there in the fray as well, which is where the PDP vote seems to have gone.
Exactly, and that's why in the exit poll, if you remember the swing from the PDP was going to others, not to National Conference and the Congress. So it's like the complete meltdown of PDP in favor of others in the valley and complete meltdown of JJP, which is, by the way, in our numbers were going in favor of the Congress. So it's a repolarization of the anti-BJP votes in Haryana, which is doing that meltdown
Both
effect of
these
BJP.
parties align with BJP. So
Yeah, and
PDP
both these
parties-
But I asked this question, Rajdeep, to Dushyant Chautala when he came to the Haryana Panchayat that we did in Gurgaon. I said, okay, if the numbers hold in the way that it's seeming and that you get wiped out, what happens? Where does that leave you politically? He says, bhai, ye politics hai, thoda wait karna padega, 5 saal baad dekhte. So his hope is that as this government stays in power, anti-incumbency builds up, that he still has a shot in the future because he's still relatively young. That's what they're hoping on. The other, just the database theory is that you've got a vote bank split into two with the INLD and the JJP, leaving very little chance for revival, given that we're seeing a trend towards
But Rahul,
bipolarity.
there's only one option now. After this election, if these are the results, then the JJP and the INLD will need to come back together to survive. There is no way that the JJP and the INLD can continue to be regional forces the way they are. They have, it's the writings on the wall.
And there's
you need
another-
to survive, you need to come together.
There's another thing to look at, Rajat, which is that both these parties, the PDP and the JJP, suffered because they allied with the BJP. Yep. One of the reasons why the PDP has lost a key part of its vote bank in the Kashmir Valley is because of Mufti Saab's alliance with the BJP, and similarly the JJP, which fought on an anti-BJP plank last time, because they tied up with the BJP, is also why Dushyant Chautala is floundering amongst the Jats.
So this is a big takeaway, that if the leader starts doing somersaults and gymnastics, the public and their supporters will also do that similar gymnastics. It's not an assumption that you can work with. The same happened with Ajit Pawar also. The same happened with JJP and with Mehbooba. You go against what you were voted in for, and then you sort of take that leap of faith, hoping that while you are going in and allying with your principal adversary, possibly the public and your supporters will also go that extra mile and support you. That does not happen. People feel cheated because we gave you votes to do X politics. You can't change that nature of politics after winning. And I think this they need to understand, leaders need to understand.
I think both Mehbooba Mufti and Dushyant Chautala paying the price for that. Mehbooba Mufti, her father chose to go with the BJP at the time. And it was a very difficult relationship, particularly once Mehbooba took over. And the sense in the valley was that we haven't voted you in for you to be sort of doing deal making with the BJP. Dushyant Chautala certainly suffered because of that, because he was voted on an anti-BJP vote, an anti-incumbency vote. You went and tied up with the BJP for short-term gains. You're going to pay a long-term price. That's politics. I mean, there's a message there perhaps for even the other election. You've got Maharashtra coming up. Ajit Pawar will be looking at these numbers and thinking, have I done the right thing going with the BJP? Eknath Shinde, have I done the right thing? All of them will have to look at these numbers.
But the PDP can still come to be kingmaker. JJP will not, if the numbers hold or our exit poll numbers hold, JJP won't have that.
Sure, but you know, the other real trend, and Preeti, you can weigh in on this because you've traveled through this area. It's your home territory. It's 8-0 at the moment in Jatland. I know, we are calling it Jatland. We could use, perhaps a better description of that entire area. But it is an area where the Jats are 30-40% of the population in a number of the constituencies. What is it that reflects Jat anger suddenly against the BJP?
So the Jats, 26% of the entire population where Haryana is concerned. And if you look at what you are saying, the Jatland region-wise, why it's seeming to right now be swept by the Congress. The biggest difference, Rajdeep, from 2019 to 2024, this was an area where the JJP had made massive gains in. Most of the seats which are now turning blue for the Congress were with the JJP in 2019. So the anger in 2019 was there against the BJP where the Jats were concerned. But they funneled it through the JJP in certain seats. The seat of Julana, these were seats, Julana was held by JJP.
Should I call it Jatland or Deshwal?
No, the Jats really don't care.
They don't care, the Jats don't care. But look, at the end of the day, it is one of the significant things that's happened in 2024 Lok Sabha, in the Jat-dominated constituencies of Rajasthan, the opposition won. In Haryana, we've seen the same trend. We're seeing pockets of Western UP also reflecting Jat anger against the BJP. What explains it? Farmers' agitation, Pahalwan agitation, Agniveer. What represents suddenly Jats moving away from the BJP?
And farmer anger is not restricted to just Jats.
It's a mixture of everything. Plus, the fact that the Jats have been out of power for Haryana for the past 10 years.
So they're looking at power, yes.
See, I think if you understand this in a historical context, Congress was actually non-Jat party under Bhajan Lal, and Jat party was INLD. Right now, under Hooda, that basically Congress is trying to become a Jat party. Entry of BJP happened on that plank. It basically brought the non-Jat politics in Haryana. So Jats were never a traditional vote base of BJP either in Haryana or in Western UP.
Also, BJP didn't allow its Jat leaders to have that level of a prominence. Like Captain Abhimanyu, all of these people were sidelined over a period of time. And then visibly, if you don't see those array of strong, feisty Jat leaders...
No, but that was a deliberate strategy. It didn't happen by happenstance. You know, this was part of the core BJP strategy that you can isolate the Jats, get the other 35 biradris together and be able to form a social coalition. But this is the revenge of the Jats if the exit poll numbers are right.
You allowed, Congress party and the INLD to have, you were seeing the trend. I mean, the JJP and the INLD decimating is not a recent affair. It's been in the making for the past 3 years. So, politics is all about swiftly changing the strategy.
If these are the numbers. Now, let's just be very clear. These are the numbers. This is not just because of the Jat vote. They've got the Ahirwal vote. They've got the Jat vote. They've got the crucial Dalit vote. The crucial Dalit vote. They've got that going.
I'll give you a sense of that. In the SC constituencies also at the moment, it's 4-4. But remember, these are early trends. In the Jat constituencies, that is, constituencies where Jats are more than 30%, 36 such constituencies. At the moment, 18 leads available, Congress leading in 13 of them. So there's a clear benefit that they're getting Jat vote, but Preeti is right.
No,
you need a Dalit plus Jat combined to have a sweep in Haryana.
Rajdeep, I'll tell you right now, if you're looking at the figures, what one needs to look at. Look at the Ahirwal belt. If you're seeing the Ahirwal belt turn blue, which you are seeing, this is the anomaly. The Dalit vote is coming. The Dalit vote from 2024, whatever had shifted to the Congress, you're getting it. But you're also being bolstered by the part OBC vote, and that is coming in from the Ahirwal belt.
It also happened in 2024. 51% OBCs back to the Congress party because of caste.
In any election, if a party is going to gain massively, which is going to happen, you are going to win across communities. Like
and
in some cases,
one very interesting trend that's visible in Jammu and Kashmir is that the much wanted other parties, right? For example, the AIP of Engineer Rashid The others, like the People's Conference, they're not. So none of the Jamaat candidates are winning. None of Engineer Rashid's candidates are winning. None of Sajjad Lone's candidates are winning. None of Altaf Bukhari's candidates are winning. So much for this. Others, at least in the initial trends that we have available, none of them are winning.
So therefore, the big picture in these early trends is very simple. Voters have decided there is a clear bipolarity emerging, a clear polarization. If I don't want you in Haryana, if I don't want the BJP, I'm going to the Congress. I'm forgetting JJP, I'm forgetting INLD. If I want the NC Congress, I'm not going towards the independents. I want to vote one way. So there is a clear bipolarity, a polarization emerging in which independents are getting squeezed out in both Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir.
Ironically, with the Awami Ittihad Party's candidates, Engineer Rashid was arguably better off while he was in Tihar jail than he was outside, because while he was inside jail, he had the sympathy card working in his favor. Once you're...
Whether he should be released or not, actually.
No, but once he's outside, he loses sympathy.
No, are you suggesting that... No, 1 minute. Are you suggesting... 1 minute. Are you suggesting, because this is the belief in Kashmir. The belief in Kashmir is that the centre released Engineer Rashid so that he could cut into the NC Congress vote. Here is a UAPA detainee, terror funding, who I have been attacked for calling my friend, and I count my friends as Omar Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah, Ravinder Raina, and Mehbooba Mufti. Are you telling me the centre released Engineer Rashid? Was he an IB plant, the B team, as he's being called by the NC and the PDP?
So, okay, Rajiv, you don't have to be defensive that you called him a friend. That's okay.
They're all my friends.
Yeah, fair enough. So stand by it.
A real journalist must have friends across the ideological spectrum,
So again,
or you should sit in a television studio with no connect with the ground.
You know, this is what public also understood in the valley, that all of the other plants in the independents perhaps are the proxies for the BJP. And then once you have to put out a message, strong message, there is this very decentralized understanding which all comes in together. And I think they realize the game plan of the BJP perhaps, and this is why they voted lock, stock and barrel in one direction, perhaps voting for a party which can actually stop the BJP.
No, that's a good point, because you see, the fact is in the Kashmir Valley, the message had spread that Engineer Rashid, who while he was in jail ka badla vote se, suddenly I'm out there, nobody knows how, I've got 36 candidates, and I seem to have some resources which I didn't have during the Lok Sabha elections. I can't play victim anymore. And the message that the other party sent out is Engineer Rashid is a B team of the BJP put in there by the IB to split the vote. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade, because Rajat has unwittingly revealed the truth there.
But
you have unwittingly revealed the truth.
You don't know what card to play.
Right.
If you think that BJP would have gained having Engineer Rashid as a B team, and the sympathy is going to be greater by having him in the jail, then they should have kept him in the jail. If that's how you want to sort of like...
Exactly, that's what I want to say. That if they wanted
so they
to
messed
play
up.
Engineer Rashid, then they
They
should have
messed
kept
up.
him in the jail.
They may have messed up.
You need to manage a party.
There's a difference. That's an important point. A Lok Sabha and a Vidhan Sabha is different. In Lok Sabha, you wanted to send out a message. In the Vidhan Sabha election, it's far more localized, and maybe the local level factor. And we don't know. These are early trends.
Exactly.
You know, let's not run ahead of ourselves.
No, but
Engineer Rashid.
I remember a conversation I had with Digvijay Singh of the Congress, and we were talking about how the BJP is able to
Is he your
micromanage.
friend?
No one is my friend. So unlike Rajdeep, who has lots of friends,
I have a very different view of politics.
Yeah.
My view of politics is anyone who provides access to journalists in terms of sharing news, sharing information, must be a friend. That doesn't mean khana pina, but that certainly means across the ideological spectrum, whether it's a Praveen Togadia or an Engineer Rashid, sab mere dost hai.
So
I
come from a very different
koi
school.
dushman nahi hai.
I come from a very different school of journalism, and I believe the journalists shouldn't have friends with politicians.
Friend,
And
you
none
must
of them
define
are
what a
friends.
friend is. Friend is a contact, a source. You must.
Source sab hona chahiye.
Rahul has sat too long in a TV studio. That's the problem. He has to go out in the field, he'll make more friends.
Nobody should be a friend. You should come do your job and go back home. Nobody should be a friend.
Vinesh Phogat is trailing that to be...
Okay, so I was telling a story which got disrupted. The story is when Digvijay Singh was asked about the micromanagement of the BJP and the level of engineering they were able to do, he says, boss, ye time ki baat hai. You know, you just give it some time and this will start unraveling. And part of that is correct, that when you make certain efforts. Sometimes they come through and it looks like a stroke of genius, or you call it Chanakya Niti, and you try the same things and it doesn't come through. Lagta hai, "Arey, ye to outside the option."
But there is a difference between trying and over trying. You do something, but you keep on doing it and do it to the extreme. And that is where it starts falling apart. I think playing smart is good. Playing over smart is never good in politics.
And also,
because public can see through it.
I think
that's the problem.
But where does the boundary of smart end and over smart begin?
Well, you know what?
Those are very easy to say.
Congress has passed
Every
the
smart
halfway mark
politician
in
knows.
Haryana. Congress has passed the halfway mark.
I know,
in
and
Haryana.
what's happened, Rahul, what was a tough contest, just a minute, what was a tough contest in the early hours, now is very clear that you are a party now 3 times ahead, triple of your primary opponent. 48-16, 2-2 clearly suggests the Congress, barring some miracle at the last moment, is heading for a conclusive victory. I am calling it an Andhi. Remember, my definition of Andhi is 60, definition of Tsunami 70, definition of wave 50.
No, and 20 seats are still to be counted. And the Congress already above the halfway mark. This is turning out to be a very decisive Congress victory in Haryana. The BJP embarrassingly low at 16, down 11 seats from the last time. Not looking good at all.
So
from
what
the
would be an embarrassment for the BJP? Less than 20?
Yes.
Would be less than 20
than
would be an
20.
embarrassment?
They will have nothing to pick from that wreckage. And that is less than 20 in my view.
Okay.
Anything above that, they can still stand.
Sorry, yes,
By and large, they are losing about one-third of their
Their
seats.
consolation will be vote share.
Sorry?
Their consolation will be vote share. Anything above 30% plus,
public
I
doesn't
think is a
Yes,
is a
Rahul.
decent enough thing for the BJP.
So when Hooda lost in 2014,
Yes.
Congress got 15 seats, right? From 40 to 15. Now BJP is sitting at 14. If you just want to think into those terms, anything above 15 should be okay.
So they are losing about one-third of their seats. So if you are looking at the 40 and do the calculation, they are gonna land somewhere around 20ish maybe. But yes, people do not understand the vote share. But the consolation is there because one other way of looking at these results is that in the bipolarization of Haryana, BJP as an opposition is one pole decisively stationed, and they are here to stay.
The big turnaround in Haryana this time compared to 2019 is taking place in Kurukshetra. You go across what you call your GT.
Two places.
Because
Rajdeep.
16
The
photo,
GT Karnal
Ahirwan is 11-9.
But that's, Ahirwan was a sweep by the BJP last time.
Ma'am, just a minute. There are, there are 22 seats in Kurukshetra at the moment for which we have lead. More than 60% people here live in urban areas. At the moment, Congress leading in 16, BJP in 4. And this is where every constituency has 20% plus Dalit voters.
You're
so
right.
because there are 20%, remember, these are all strong Dalit-dominated constituencies, including SC reserved. In fact, in SC reserved at the moment, it's a sweep for the Congress.
You talk about the GT Karnal road. Other than Ladwa right now, of course, the CM is leading. But if in Karnal, the Congress is leading, this is direct messaging
So
for
Omar
Manohar
Abdullah
Lal
of the
Khattar.
National Conference
Sure,
speaking at this
yes.
time. Let's listen to what Omar Abdullah
Early
said.
trends are giving an edge to NC.
No, I don't go by early trends. Last time when results came out, I came here for a run. Early trends were I was winning. घर पहुंच के सारा बदल गया. मुझे early trends मत बताइए ना. लंच के बाद बात करेंगे.
Will Umar Abdullah win from both Budgam and
Inshallah, but no, it's who can say? जो अल्लाह ताला ने रखा होगा वही होगा. और जो गांदरबल और बड़गाम के लोगों ने मैंने अपने तरफ से जितना मैं कर सकता था किया. और बाकी
You've been meeting people.
बाकी डब्बों में है ना. अब डब्बों से निकले नतीजे फिर देखें.
Thank you very much.
Okay, chalo, all the best.
All the best, sir.
Good luck.
Confidence is someone who thinks he's winning.
He seems to be wearing Formula One clothes. I mean,
No,
what
he
is that?
goes for a run in the morning. Even when he called us for a Jab We Met, I showed up at his house at 9. I was told he's gone for a run. He'll come back, have breakfast, and then the shoot will start in the middle of peak campaigning. So, and when we went out for a shoot, everyone else is eating Vazwan, he's having his sprouts. He has to take care of those abs and ensure that he's,
He's an English breakfast man, which is, you can have cornflakes and with banana and eggs and all that. Well, Farooq Saab will say, do you want some harissa early morning? But, that's the difference.
But during the trends, during the election campaigning, it was Srinagar MP, Sayyid Ruhullah, whose speeches were youngsters were mobilized, not by Umar Abdullah's speeches.
आप लड़ाई करा रहे हैं इनकी, हैं?
No, ma'am, I'm telling you the fact. He's a Shia, by the way, going in and speaking in the Sunni belt. He was a son of a Shia preacher as well.
So can we go through some of the VIP candidates of Haryana? We've got Abhay Singh Chautala from the INLD leading currently in Ellanabad. Aditya Devilal's results we're awaiting. Aditya Surjewala, Randeep Surjewala's son, is currently leading in Kaital. Aarti Singh Rao Inderjeet Singh's daughter, is currently trailing in Ateli. Arjun Chautala is currently, we're awaiting results in Rani. Anil Vij is leading in Ambala Kent. Bhavya Bishnoi is currently leading in Adampur. Kuldeep Bishnoi joined the BJP, so they're currently leading in Adampur. Bhupinder Singh Hooda in Gadhi Sampla is currently leading. Chandar Mohan is trailing in Panchkula. Dushyant Chautala, we're waiting for results. Gopal Khanda, interestingly, in Sirsa is currently trading. And Nayab Singh Saini in Ladwa is currently in the lead. That's as far as the VIP candidates of Haryana are concerned.
What's the
Vinesh
message?
is trailing, Rahul. Vinesh is trailing. That's the sad part. Because right now, with what I can see, she's trailing. And she's the only blip right now with what you call the Jatland. Rajdeep, where Julana seat she's trailing to JJP.
You know, the story of Haryana is actually in the urban-rural divide, if there is one. Though the Congress is leading in both, if you look at urban seats, at least the BJP is in the race. It's 15-8. The moment you go to rural Haryana, out of the leads that we have, 43 leads, the Congress is leading in 34. So it's a wipeout there. You're leading in 3 out of 4 rural seats. And that again comes to the point which perhaps we need to get in some guests. Sujata Paul, Congress spokesperson, joining me. Tausif Shah is senior leader PDP. But Sujata Paul, you can have a bright smile. I often see you angrily looking at a television camera. For once, Congress people have reason to smile today. Haryana certainly is giving you good news. Not so much Jammu and Kashmir, not Jammu certainly. But are you... is there a sense that finally the Congress has reason to celebrate in a direct fight with the BJP? That hasn't happened for a while, not since Himachal and Karnataka 2 years ago.
Good morning, Rajdeep, and good morning to everybody in the studio. And today definitely is going to be a day of the people, because this democracy is for the people, by the people, and of the people.
No, are you saying when the BJP wins, it's not democracy? Are you saying it's only when Congress wins, it's a day to celebrate? For people and
not
democracy?
At all. Not at all. This is democracy that sometimes we win and sometimes we lose, and sometimes we win historically. So this time it's going to be a historic win, and like you said, it's going to be a tsunami. And I do remember Mr. Verma talking about the BJP, if it goes below 15, it's going to be an embarrassment. And there you are. It's on at 15 at the moment. It's going to go further down. I'm absolutely sure of that. It's going to be a rout.
Okay.
And even Jammu and Kashmir, let's not undermine people, because people are focused on their issues. And when people vote, we might think about them as various communities, but when people of a democracy vote, they vote decisively, and bipolarity in these elections.
Okay, ma'am, I have no problem with you saying vote for the people, as long as when the BJP also wins, you call it a vote for the people and vote for democracy. I think Congress has to also recognize that some elections may go their way, some the other way. You don't have to blame EVMs every time things go wrong. Tausif Shah, PDP, you're getting squeezed out. The PDP is the one, Tausif, that's losing out at the moment. You're just leading in 3, that's down 26 compared to 10 years ago.
Yeah, very, very good morning, Mr. Rajdeep and all the fellow panelists over there. So this is not weekend. We always respected the people's verdict, and we have to respect the people's verdict. Whatever comes our way, we have to take it very happily, and we have to see where we can improve and where we have done the wrongs. So now, this is too early.
Will you join hands? The big question, if let's say the NC Congress is 5 seats short and you get 5, will you support them without any conditions?
We are not going to get 5. We are eyeing on approximately not less than 15 seats, not 5. So let's assume what you say. So once they need us, if they require us, they can obviously speak to the party high command, and then there's a political affairs committee, what you call as working committee. They'll decide and they'll see. Yes, obviously, I think to keep BJP outside of the power, we will surely be thinking about joining the coalition.
So you're giving us an important news point. To keep the BJP out of power in Jammu and Kashmir, you're saying you would be willing to join hands with the NC Congress. Am I correct? Broadly.
Yeah, but still that would be decided by the political affairs committee, that what you call working committee. So, but normally, hopefully we see that we want to keep, every party in Jammu and Kashmir wants to keep BJP out of the power, because they have ruined the state. They have ruined the, rather we can say the, now it's union territory.
Okay.
They have ruined it really.
Okay, let's look at those numbers, Rahul Verma, closely for Jammu and Kashmir that are coming, because that possibility now does exist. The possibility that Jammu and Kashmir could have a hung assembly. I want to tell our viewers, remember this 90 seats, but there are 5 seats which the Lieutenant Governor can choose. So it's a 95-member assembly. You need 48 clear majority. Given that, Rahul Verma, do you see a party like the PDP automatically joining hands with the Congress-NC alliance, that the Valley parties will, as was suggested, come together to keep out the BJP? And is that good politics and good for the country?
So 2 things. One, I think if you look at the trends right now, it seems that Congress and NC are going to be closer to the majority than BJP from the early trends. Second, I think these parties in the Valley, if the Congress and NC is closer to the majority marks, say around like 42, 43, I think then other parties would be compelled to support them. So is it a good politics or bad politics? I think that's the dilemma. If they join, they lose in the long run. But if they don't join, then they lose the legitimacy
How do you accommodate Jammu? Do you have a deputy chief minister from Jammu? Is that the only way? Because Congress at the moment is getting blanked out in Jammu, which is the big, the one depressing news for the Congress will be you're not gaining at the moment in Jammu. You're becoming a party essentially tagging along with the NC of the Valley. Haryana, of course, is only giving good news at the moment, Rahul, for the Congress, including Vinesh Phogat, whom Preeti is looking at.
Fight.
Preeti looks at Vinesh Phogat very closely, but at the moment she's leading.
In a direct fight with the BJP, the Congress is running away with the Haryana elections. 52 leads at this moment for the Congress party, up 24 from the last time. JP Nadda and the BJP won't have much to smile about in the state of Haryana. 16 leads at this moment, down 17 seats from the last time. This is an electoral drubbing in the making, and that is going to be quite embarrassing. That's why they had the dhols and the nagadas out in the morning, and they had every reason to, because this is not just a victory. You still have 17 seats on which we are awaiting trends, and the Congress already comfortably passed the 46 mark. Therefore, in Haryana, it seems, in a direct fight with the BJP, remember, there is some historical context here. Even in the 2019 Assembly election, on the back of the peak of the Modi wave, when the BJP won 56% plus vote in the Lok Sabha elections, their vote share came down to 36. So about a 21% dip in the assembly elections that followed a few months later. Now, when they're sitting on a base of 46, the BJP currently leading only 16 seats. This is a very embarrassing situation to be in.
Chautala, and you can tell us a bit about him, Preeti, is from Ellanabad. Abhay Singh Chautala is leading. Now, this is a seat which the INLD usually retains. Give us a sense of this whole Chautala family. I think the country needs to know, the fact from Devilal's time, this family has had a huge role in Haryana politics. Is it reaching the end of the road?
No, I think, this is a marquee moment, Rajdeep, for the 3 Lals of Haryana, be it the Bansilal family, where you have both the grandkids in the fray now looking to fight on one assembly seat, be it the Bhajan Lal clan, one on a Congress ticket and the other one on a BJP ticket in Nadampur, or, be it the Devi Lal clan. The INLD and the JJP won't have much option but to come together. But can I, just take your attention, Rajdeep, where Haryana is concerned, to the Kurukshetra belt that you were talking of. For the Bharatiya Janata Party, I would think this is messaging not because very often we try and say 10 years of anti-incumbency. This is messaging to the center because this is messaging at the back of the farm movement which took place. This is a belt which is not a Jat belt. They have peasants, they have farmers, but they are non-Jat farmers. If they are not voting for the BJP, who are traditionally your voters, there is something to worry for. 3 things now one needs to look at, Rajdeep. Agniveer, the policy which came in, the farm protest which came in, the wrestlers protest came in. These were not done by the state leadership of the BJP. These were all bought in by the central leadership. And that is what you see, anger against right now. And so that is a moment for reckoning for the center as well.
So in a sense, this whole double engine model will come under question. That, for the last 10 years, we've been hearing double engine, that the center will pull up the state government, even if the state government is non-performing. That's not happening anymore. And to that extent, there will be a question mark over the center. as much as it is over the state, that you can't rely on a non-performing state government and expect Modi ji aa jayenge, Superman hai. There are no Superman.
So the election intelligence dashboard is able to pull out the kind of insights which aren't visible elsewhere. I'll take you through some of those insights. If I do a cast breakup of the seats where the Congress party is currently gaining in Haryana, it's very interesting to see. In comparison with the last time, the Congress is leading on 11 Jat seats. Now, these are seats where the Jat community is 20% plus and therefore in a position to be able to influence the verdict. On the Dalit seats, the Congress is 9%. These aren't just the reserved seats. These are seats where the Dalits are present in substantial numbers and therefore able to influence the verdict. So 9 leads of the Congress are coming from Dalit seats. 2 are coming from Muslim seats, 11 are coming from Jat seats. If I look at these are the gains. These are the gains. So relative to last time, where are you?
So again, you've gone and put Rahul. You told me you're going to remove JP.
In that other graphic we have. Okay, so now
Mallikarjun Kharge. Again, you have put JP Nadda.
So if I look,
JP Nadda versus Mallikarjun Kharge or Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi. You've got to choose Rahul.
Now Rahul Gandhi is winning. Let him also enjoy the moment.
No, but the BJP's loss is no, 1 minute. BJP's loss is JP Nadda's loss.
No, but I think, well, see, at this moment, I think you should allow Rahul Gandhi to also be in that frame. Otherwise, you remove him from the frame, then also you'll get the big
That's
match.
true. Congressman will say, why are you not giving credit to Rahul? Why are you giving it to Kharge? Fair point.
So there's no qualified intentions
but
in that.
either way, this will become a topic of discussion certainly on social media. Why are we showing JP Nadda and Rahul Gandhi? Either Mallikarjun Kharge Nadda or Mr. Modi and Rahul Gandhi.
So if we look at the BJP's caste matrix and where they are gaining and losing, the BJP is currently down 6 seats among seats where the Jat community is influential. They're down on 3 Gujar seats. They're down on 2 Brahman seats. They're down on 2 seats where the Muslim community is influential. They're down on 6 Dalit seats as well. This makes for quite embarrassing.
Boss, when there is an Andhi, you see, when there is an Andhi, it doesn't think कि मैंने slum area में घर उजाड़ दिया या skyscraper में. सबको उसका कहीं ना कहीं आंधी का impact
I'll give you credit. So when I came back from Haryana, and I must say this because Rajdeep always tells me that you never give me enough credit. So when I came back from Haryana, we were discussing and I said I think it's going to be about 50 to 55 is where the Congress will be because I feel that it's a vote against the government, but I didn't see such a pro-Congress movement. But yes, the Congress is comfortable. Rajdeep at that time had said that it's going to be over 60.
If we look at the...
Anyway, these are early trends. We will talk about it when it's over. But our colleague Maushmi Singh, who tracks the Congress, is joining us at the moment. Maushmi, early morning, we already saw the dholes out quite incredibly at 7 in the morning. It's now what? Close to 9 a.m. Have the dholes increased? Has the churma started? I want to know what the jalebi and the churma, the jaleb and the churma already started. You're in the right place for once.
Rajdeep, I've been seeing that you've been keeping your eyes on all the eateries in Haryana with election on my plate, and perhaps, we've seen the jalebis and the laddus and the dhol nagaras rolling out very early at the Congress headquarters, and we'll ask none other than Mr. Pawan Khera, who's joining us, the media chairperson, that is the hype going to really convert into good election results for you? Good news coming all the day for you, and you can hear the dhol nagaras right there again rolling out. There have been celebrations earlier in the past, but they've turned a damn squib after the results rolled out. Not this time.
We are very confident that this result will only consolidate in our favor through the day, and we are doing very well both in Haryana and in Jammu Kashmir.
If you look at the early trends, the Congress has maintained a huge lead. Do you think that lead will be maintained because in Jammu and Kashmir it was going to be a tight match?
No, it will only go up in both the states. I still call Jammu and Kashmir a state. Both these states will only consolidate and strengthen ourselves.
And we've seen the jalebis here. Now the jalebi has been a lot in discussion with Rahul Gandhi talking about Gohana ki jalebi. Perhaps the Haryana pride also playing a part here for the
Haryana
Congress?
pride. Of course, it's the Haryana pride, but also India's pride, and it's a shocker that the Prime Minister of India, for the last 10 years he's been the Prime Minister, does not know that factories do make jalebis and export them abroad. He'll know today.
Rajdeep, Rahul, Preeti, you have any question to Mr. Pawan Khera?
No, I want to ask Mr. Pawan Khera that does the Congress, when they lose, sometimes there are congressmen who say there is something wrong with the election, we must check EVMs. the BJP has engaged in some form of fraudulence. Today, are they willing to accept that some you win, some you don't?
खेरा साहब जब हारते हैं तो ईवीएम की दिक्कत है. When you lose, then you blame and cry foul. And this time you're winning. It's all Congress performance.
ये पूरा भरोसा है कि राहुल कमल का सवाल होगा एंड मैं जवाब दूंगा.
नहीं राजदीप का सवाल है, genuine सवाल है.
This is Rajdeep's googly. This is Rajdeep's top spinner.
वोटिंग के प्रोसीजर पे, प्रोसेस पे अगर एक वोटर को भी शक है या संशय है तो हमारी जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि उस शक को हम हमेशा पहुंचाते रहेंगे.
अच्छा रुकिए, राहुल also wants to ask you a question और ये राजदीप जी की गुगली थी. राहुल just question, Preeti, your question.
खेड़ा साहब कितना I'm saying just Kheda Sahab, it reflects how much bias you have to imagine that I asked the question when actually the question came from your friend Rajdeep. देखो यही तो problem है.
We are not allowed to ask questions.
There is no bias.
We are not allowed questions. सवाल पूछना मना है.
आपने proof कर दिया.
Study everybody who has this name called Rahul.
हाँ, आपने proof कर दिया.
राहुल नाम से मोहब्बत है. और राहुल नाम भी होता है, अपनी गंभीरता से स्टडी करते हैं.
How does the Congress intend to celebrate? This is Deepavali come early. At this moment in Jammu and Kashmir, with 14 seats still to be counted, you're very close to being able to form a government. In Haryana, it's one of the most decisive victories you've had against the BJP in a direct face-off in the Modi era.
We'll send you a box of jalebis. In fact, I'll send you personally 2 boxes because your close friend Mr. Narendra Modi will also get 1 box from you. So we'll send you 2 boxes today.
पवन खेरा जी, अच्छा आप ये बताइए, your preference, should Bhupinder Hooda ji be CM of Haryana? Because he's led the campaign. Who do you think should be the CM of Haryana?
Who's anybody to decide? It's for the legislative party to decide. Let the legislative party give their recommendations to the central leadership, and that's how it gets decided.
But Pavan, there will be those who will say that this is more a Congress as default option.
The question
this is Congress as default.
That are being fired here, and I'd like to show you all here back in the studio that how the Congress is intending to make it a big deal. The whole nagaras are right here, and also the firecrackers that are being lit. This was happening in the 6 a.m. in the morning also, and then we saw that lots of Congress workers have poured in. It's going to be a lot of hype and hoopla if the Congress can register a victory, because Congress will be mincing no words about how brand Modi has faded away.
But Moshpi, just to understand, you seem to suggest as if for the Congress it's all about Haryana. There's another state, Jammu and Kashmir, where the Congress is of course in alliance with the NC. Has the Congress not paid enough attention, particularly to Jammu? I'm looking at it, at the numbers. Priyanka Gandhi did 1 rally there. Rahul Gandhi virtually never went to Jammu event, mainly to the valley. Is there a sense among congressmen that there is another election also in Jammu and Kashmir, or is all the attention on Haryana?
Rajdeep, naturally, here at the Congress headquarters, Haryana is dominating the entire discourse of whether, this is a battle of prestige, and we are seeing Jairam Ramesh come in. We've seen him after a long while. But to answer your question, that's a very important fact, because they think that Haryana is a matter of prestige for them. The Modi card really worked well for the BJP. So their brand Modi will be hit, but also not undermining the importance of Jammu and Kashmir. It was Omar Abdullah who pointed out to the Congress that the campaign has been very lackadaisical and very not that aggressive. And then we saw Rahul Gandhi and Mr. Kharge and Priyanka do some rallies. But we'll have to wait and watch whether that was a part of strategy to intensely localize the election, localize the campaign of the candidates that they had pitched for, and not make it a brand BJP versus or Modi Sarkar versus the India Alliance at the Jammu level is what many congressmen and congresswomen believe. But on the other hand,
There are patakas, there are patakas going on behind you, so that can't be easy that you can't hear it. Possibly you can't hear us, but obviously Congress have managed to get some crackers after a long time. This is the nature of Indian politics. Very interesting. They won Himachal Pradesh and they were accused of not celebrating
enough.
because they didn't probably expect that they could defeat the BJP in a direct fight. Finally, somebody seems to have decided, yaar, thode patake to le
In
aao.
the stock market WhatsApp groups of Mumbai, there is this meme that's doing the rounds and circulating quite widely. It says the Congress is like the Chinese stock market. Just when you thought that it's been hammered and beaten down and that there is no hope and that you're looking at other emerging markets, it bounces back. If the Congress is going to be winning 64 odd seats out of 90, then in some ways it's like the Chinese stock market, it's bounced back. Rahul Gandhi says this often, that we're like cockroaches, we'll find a way of being able to come back. The Congress will always, he believes, if you tinker it, the machine springs to life. It's something that he reiterates quite often.
Congress is
default
Rajdeep, Congress is
That's
the
what I
default national party of India. Yes, BJP is much bigger than the Congress as on today, but let's accept it. If there is no BJP, then the alternative, the natural default alternative is in Congress in more than 200 Lok Sabha seats of this country and more than 15 states in this country.
So therefore, I want to know if these numbers hold. Congress zinda hai, or is it that the Congress is, as is being suggested, the default option? Will the Congress, worryingly for them, get carried away by these numbers? There are states like Jharkhand where they could suffer anti-incumbency. There's Maharashtra, which is more complicated. How will these results play out? Should it be seen as the Congress on the path of recovery, or is that premature?
No, Congress is clearly on the path of recovery. That was visible in 2024 Lok Sabha elections as well. Because in direct contest versus the BJP, they had won only 8% of the seats in 2019, which improved to 28-29% in 2024. So it is clearly on the path of revival. It gives confidence to the cadre and the leaders that they can also beat the BJP.
There's not Zinda hai. There's a Diwali release called Singham.
Right.
The Congress will say, Congress Singham hai if they get these kind of numbers. Look at the map
Rahul,
of Haryana.
it acts
Look
like a
at the
stimulus.
sweep of you.
Stimulus.
But Rahul,
In the
this
map
is the
of
problem.
Haryana.
Rahul, this is the problem. The fact is the Congress, if they win Haryana, will be in power in this country in 4.5 states. That's Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, and now and half of Jharkhand.
But there will be 10 other states where they are going to be a principal opposition party as well. Waiting in the wings for that default anti-incumbency verdict coming their way.
Yeah, but the anti-incumbency can also come to hurt the Congress 5 years from now. My limited point is, there are, I think, still organizational deficiencies the Congress suffers from. The Congress ran a very good campaign in Haryana. 2 years ago, they decided we are giving the party, almost outsourcing it to Mr. Hooda. He got his man Uday Bhan as the Congress chief, and they did yatras. They had a focused campaign, no doubt about it. Can you replicate it across the country? We don't know yet.
There's another way of looking at this, Rajdeep, which is that as the Congress wins some of these state assemblies, in 5 years, adequate anti-incumbency may have built up against them, which kind of makes it easier for Modi 4.0 if there is if when it comes to that. Because in Karnataka, in Himachal Pradesh, there's already serious anti-incumbency.
I'm just stopping you. You make an excellent point, Rahul, but I'm just stopping you for just saying that for the first time since this morning, the NC Congress has touched the halfway mark in Jammu and Kashmir.
But Rajdeep, halfway is not 46. Halfway is now 48, right?
But for now, for 90 seats, they've touched the halfway mark. I mean, I agree there are 5 seats which the Lieutenant Governor has.
So their mark is 48. They have to get 48.
They want to get 48, but if I get 45, I should be within striking distance of forming a government.
I'm not even looking at 46. It is 46 plus 5. It is 51 at the moment. You know,
but the 5 are not theirs. 5 are not theirs, boss. 5 to udhar aa jayenge.
I am talking about the PDP 5, not the 5 of the nominated members.
Okay.
For all practical purposes.
So you could argue the India alliance is at 50, since PDP technically is still part of the India alliance.
I mean, it has to be taken
45 plus 5. But it's again Jammu and Kashmir.
But Rajdeep, what's very clear is that Omar would much rather not have Mehbooba on. If he can avoid it, he'd like to avoid it and finish off the PDP once and forever, if it is possible. Between the younger generation, I mean the older generation may have been more amicable towards each other. There is this tension and they don't particularly like each other.
I'll tell you a great story. Omar Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti were put in the same when they were arrested after Article 370, were put in the same guest house for a week. And the deal was that Omar told Mehbooba, please tell me when you're going out to walk, so I'll make sure I'm not around at that time. So they tried to time their walks in a way, because there was this lovely garden. Omar would go out to walk at one time, Mehbooba would go out to walk at the other time. But who knows?
This is correct, because I asked Omar that, have you seen Kashmir Files? Because in Kashmir Files, the protagonists of Omar and Mehbooba are quite daggers drawn. So I asked him, are things actually quite dagger? I haven't seen it. So he's like, I haven't seen Kashmir Files, but things are not very pleasant.
Omar is a good Englishman. And Englishmen at the end of the day know how to behave.
He's also highly likely to be watching India Today at this time.
He's watching.
And in a short while from now, we'll be wanting to speak to the new Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir.
It would be nice to get Omar and Mehbooba together.
It's going to be
I want to go across to
Rajdeep, has Farooq Abdullah given claims to be
Just a minute.
One thing is very clear from these numbers, that people, when they want to give a mandate, they want to give a clear, straightforward mandate.
So we've got two guests joining us. We've got Ravinder Raina, who's the state BJP president, joining us. We've got Yogender Yadav joining us on this broadcast as well. I want to go across to Ravinder Raina first. आपने जम्मू कश्मीर में इलेक्शन में काफी एफर्ट किया. बीजेपी जीत तो रही है जम्मू वाली में, जहां पे अगर हम सिर्फ जम्मू का देखते हैं आपका परफॉर्मेंस अच्छा है, पर कश्मीर में जो आपको लग रहा था कि एनसी नहीं अच्छा कर पाएगी, वैसा हुआ नहीं. जम्मू में आपको 25 लीड्स हैं, 3 डाउन फ्रॉम द लास्ट टाइम. द कांग्रेस एंड द एनसी इन जम्मू आर ऑन 12, अप 5 फ्रॉम द लास्ट टाइम. आपको लग रहा था कि सुपड़ा साफ होगा. कांग्रेस 5 लीड्स है जम्मू में, एनसी की 6 लीड्स हैं. तो लग रहा है कि एनसी कांग्रेस सरकार बनाने के काफी क्लोज रहने वाले हैं. रविंदर जी,
See, these are the early trends, and I do hope even the Bharatiya Janata Party will emerge as a single largest party in Jammu and Kashmir Assembly polls. Results are coming out. This is the best ever results I have seen. Earlier, the best one was 25 MLA seats won by Bharatiya Janata Party in 2014. This time, I hope that BJP will cross the 30 figure. And I am still confident that we will have around 15 independent candidates from Kashmir Valley. Those
नहीं सर, आपको लग रहा है इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट्स हैं? मेरे सामने डेटा है रविंद्र रायना जी, जो अवामी इत्तेहाद पार्टी है कि उसके जो कैंडिडेट्स हैं उनमें से एक भी लीड नहीं कर रहा. जमात के जो इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट्स थे उनमें से एक भी लीड नहीं कर रहा. अगर हम पीपल्स कॉन्फ्रेंस देखें सज्जाद लोन की, वो दोनों अपनी खुद की सीटों पे ट्रेल कर रहे हैं. अल्ताफ बुखारी के कैंडिडेट्स भी किसी भी सीट पे नहीं जीते. जो आपने ये सोचा था कि तिकड़म लगा के इंडिपेंडेंट जीत जा देंगे, अदर्स जीत जाएंगे, छोटी पार्टियां जीत जाएंगी, उनका तो सुपड़ा साफ है कश्मीर में अभी.
देखिए, अभी ये बहुत जल्दी होगा कि हम किसी भी नतीजे पर पहुंचेंगे. मुझे विश्वास है कि आने वाले 2 घंटों में, नेक्स्ट 2 आवर्स, जो सारा सिचुएशन है वो क्लियर हो जाएगी. और अगले 2 घंटे में यकीन मानिए, कश्मीर में जिस तरीके से हमने चुनाव कैंपेन के दौरान देखा कि वहाँ जो इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट सपोर्टेड बाय बीजेपी, दे हैड परफॉर्म वेरी वेल. दे ऑर्गेनाइज बिग political rallies, and I do hope their rallies, their support base will turn into their votes also.
Ravinder Raina, there is a belief that some of these independents were propped up by the BJP. The opposition, that is Omar Abdullah, Mehbooba Mufti, even said that Engineer Rashid is the B team of the BJP. Today also you're saying on the show, you're hoping that independents will support the BJP. Is it true BJP sponsored independent candidates in Jammu and Kashmir, including AIP?
Bharatiya Janata Party has nothing to do with the party of Engineer Rashid. He has his own political ideologies and political working. We have nothing to do with Engineer Rashid Sahab. Moreover, we have around 15 independent candidates supported by BJP in these assembly elections, and I do hope majority of them will win. During the election campaign, I witnessed a large gathering, large participation of public in the rallies organized by these independent candidates.
So you're saying you sponsored, so you're admitting, Ravinder Bhai, you're admitting you sponsored some independent candidates. Are you admitting you also sponsored Apni Party? Are you admitting you sponsored People's Conference?
No. See, not sponsored, but we were having the understanding and we supported openly. We have not contested on all the assembly segments in Kashmir Valley. We left some
Ravinder
seat for
Raina
our friends, for some of the independent candidates. Sir.
बट रविंदर रायना जी इस वक्त दिक्कत और भी है ना, क्योंकि आप अपनी खुद की जो सीट है नौशहरा में काफी बड़े मार्जिन से ट्रेल कर रहे हैं एनसी से।
नहीं, उसमें 10 राउंड की गिनती है और हम अभी इधर हैं। थोड़ी देर पहले हम उसको लीड कर रहे थे। अभी 5 जो राउंड्स की टेबल की गिनती के बाद आप देखिएगा भारतीय जनता पार्टी की शानदार जीत होगी।
Okay, we'll leave it there for the time being. Ravinder Raina, for joining us this morning, thank you. We wish you all the best and we'll have you back in a short while from now. Let's now go across to Yogendra Yadav. He comes from Haryana, is joining us early this morning. 59 leads for the Congress, up 28 from the last time. A massive political victory, arguably the biggest victory in a direct fight with the BJP that the Congress has had in the Modi era.
Nothing very surprising here, Rahul. I've been saying right from the beginning of this election, in fact, I've been saying for the last 1 month, it's somewhat boring, that in this election, the only question is whether there is a Hawa for Congress or Andhi for Congress or a Tsunami for Congress. When I traveled with some of my friends, I thought it was a little short of Tsunami, but much more than a Hawa. We see Congress hovering around 60 for the time being. My sense is that it might go up. My sense is based on 2 or 3 things. When I see someone like Aarti Rao trailing, that's a huge tsunami for South Haryana. She's the daughter of Rao Inderjeet Singh, which is the family that has dominated this area. And if Aarti Rao Singh is trailing in Ateli, that's a very significant sign. I saw a little while ago Anil Vij trailing in Ambala Kent. Now, these are very, very important trends. So my sense is that things may go even further towards Congress. And the second thing that we have seen, you must have observed it, and Rajdeep, you must have also seen it over the years, that the party which is seen to be leading in early count, towards the end, when trends result into seats, the party gets a little bump of a few extra seats. So I would not be surprised if this 60 becomes 65 or even more. By the end of the counting. So, very comfortable victory for Congress, as was expected. And this is because the state had really made up its mind almost 2 years ago. After the farmers' movement, leading to wrestlers' movement, the mood was clearly anti-BJP. Once Congress started picking up, and Rahul Gandhi's personal image also improved, then this anti-BJP sentiment clearly was consolidated into a pro-Congress sentiment. Which was reflected partly in the Lok Sabha election. That was just a glimpse that we saw. But after the Lok Sabha election, there has been a further move away from the BJP. And this is going to be a rout. That's my sense.
Yogendra Yadav, you just mentioned how in the last phase of counting, the party that's leading tends to pick up a disproportionate number of seats. That's something that at some stage someone needs to investigate and understand why that happens. But that seems to happen in most elections. The sense, though, that one gets is that this is now cutting across, if this is the margin of victory, cutting across most castes and communities and regions. So it's not just a Jat vote, but it's cutting across Jats, Dalits and other communities as well, including if in the Ahirwal belt, the Congress does well, Yadavs as well to some extent. Do you believe, therefore, what is that one factor in Haryana? You say farmers' agitation 2 years ago, but there must be something more than that. It can't just be farmers' agitation that can result in a party winning big in a state. There must be something more than that.
Rajdeep, this is one of those elections where witnessing a long-term movement and a short-term movement, both coinciding and aligning perfectly. The long-term movement, remember, if we compare to 2019 parliamentary election where Congress was routed, Congress had just 28% vote. The BJP had 58% vote. The margin was 30 percentage point. That 30 percentage point lead for the BJP turned into -1 by the time you come to this Lok Sabha election. How did that happen? That was a result of a major long-term realignment. not just Jats. In fact, all the agrarian communities coming back to the Congress, and Dalits, of course, also coming back to the Congress. Somehow this whole idea that Jats switch and the Congress in the Haryana switches. That's a completely mistaken idea. You cannot have one community shift changing the entire trend. So you are right. The long-term shift was Haryana moving away from BJP, led by all the agrarian communities. However, there is also a second layer of intense anti-incumbency. Mr. Khattar's first regime had some positives. People said that they had given better jobs. Some people claimed that corruption had come down and so on and so forth. But by the time of Mr. Khattar's second regime, the regime was seen to be corrupt, inefficient, insensitive, and people just wanted to see his back. BJP made all the correct moves in the last 1 year. BJP brought Mr. Khattar, got him out, got Mr. Nayab Saini in, but wasn't that too late? BJP
But
also,
Yogendra Yadav,
I would not say that BJP made big blunders during the campaign. No, they did not.
But
the
Mr.
die was
Yadav,
cast
somewhere down
before
the
that.
line, is this also an erosion of what was an inorganic growth of the BJP in Haryana?
That's a very interesting point, and I think a very deep point, inorganic growth, because BJP's sudden spurt, remember, BJP was not even number 2 party in Haryana before 2014. It was number 4 party in Haryana. Suddenly, there was this very unusual, and inorganic is a very interesting metaphor for that, a very unusual growth of the BJP, which was driven by the nationalist patriotic sentiment, which was also aligned with Jats, who both in Western UP and Haryana shifted their loyalty to the BJP, which was driven by several factors, which seemed very, very artificial to anyone who had watched Haryana. So yes, things are going back. However, I should say, BJP is all set for a drubbing. Their score looks a little better right now. 27 is not as bad as it looked a few minutes ago. But supposing BJP goes to something like 20, that would be a very bad show for the BJP. However, if you put the BJP and Congress votes together, BJP Congress votes probably may cross 80%. So even in its defeat, BJP may consolidate itself as number 2 of Haryana, which is important. And may I also mention just one more quick point that we are witnessing in this morning, both in Jammu and Kashmir and in Haryana, a real drought for anyone who's seen to be B team of the BJP. In Jammu and Kashmir, we were discussing some of those trends a few minutes ago. And in Haryana, Mr. Dushyant Chautala's party currently has 2. I would be surprised if they retain even those 2. So that's a clear drubbing.
Yogendra ji, soon there are elections in Maharashtra and Jharkhand.
BJP may not go back to those times when it was number 3 or 4. Even its defeat, it may be number 2.
There are elections after this in Maharashtra and Jharkhand, after that in Delhi and Bihar. Do you think the results today have any bearing on what follows in Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Delhi and Bihar after that? Or would you look at these as isolated political events?
In terms of voters' movement, yes. Unlikely that a voter in Jharkhand would be influenced by voting in South Haryana, for example. But it does affect something. Number one, it affects the morale of the party workers. It affects the momentum in the party. So I really don't know why the BJP designed it this way. Because if you go to Maharashtra and Jharkhand elections, after a drubbing in Haryana, the results of J&K may go against the BJP, but that may not affect Maharashtra and Jharkhand that much, because Haryana would be seen more as a barometer of what's happening in North India. So if they go to these 2 places with a very serious setback, clearly there's a loss of momentum for the BJP. So it would affect the morale of the workers, it will affect the momentum of the election campaign, and it may also affect BJP's internal squabble, the entire battle for the president's position, who becomes the president of the BJP. All this may be affected. But I would not assume that BJP would be, that voters would be affected. On a larger point, the reason why people would watch this election closely is to see whether the result of 2024 parliamentary election, was it just a 1-point setback, or is there a trend to it? If they do badly in Haryana, as they are doing right now, then people may say, all right, so now we have 2 points on the graph, and they would wait for Jharkhand and Maharashtra. And if that also indicates the same direction, then the conclusion would be, well, the BJP is it wasn't just a one-time setback, that it's a trend, it's down. Politics is like a stock market. If you're seen to be down, then this perception brings you down further. That's what may happen to BJP, but we should not conclude all that merely based on Haryana.
Okay, we're going to leave it there, Yogendra Yadav, because we'll wait and see how the numbers change. Even as you've been speaking, when you started off, Congress was over 60 in Haryana, which is a psychologically important mark, some would say, because it's a conclusive 2/3 victory. It's come down now to 55. The BJP has picked up a bit, 28. But these are early trends again. And the overall trend of Haryana is pretty clear across regions. And I think we should emphasize that across regions, the Congress is ahead of the BJP. So we'll wait and see how those trends actually materialize. And we'll have you back again once they're there.
There's a very important trend that's visible in the vote share data. We've been looking at seats so far. I want to show you the vote share data. If you look at the vote share data, the Congress is up 15% votes. And the good thing is, Yashwant Deshmukh's poll is correct, and thank God for that. We can all breathe a little easy. 15% vote share gain for the Congress, and almost all of this is coming from the Jan Nayak Janata Party of Dushyant Chautala, which is down 14%. So, like we often see in Delhi, between the AAP and the BJP in a Lok Sabha to Assembly context, here we are seeing a direct transfer of JJP's votes to the Congress, which is up 15%. The BJP, to its credit, is roughly where it was in the last Assembly elections. The BJP has lost no vote share in the Assembly elections in the votes that have been counted so far. It's the JJP that has collapsed. The INLD is at 8. So the JJP came, Yashwant, flickered for a bit, and is now on the verge of being wiped out.
Exactly. And the same kind of a story we will see when you look into the vote share, as and when we get it in Jammu and Kashmir, that would be a complete loss of meltdown of PDP vote share over there. And that's one interesting thing, that even in the defeat, that when in exit poll we said the BJP vote share is going to remain static in Haryana, they are not going to lose the votes. And that is where Yogenji's point makes sense, that even in the defeat, BJP is now the default second pole of Haryana politics, a place where it was a party number 4 just 10 years back. So bipolarity of Haryana, with almost like 80% votes going to the Congress and the BJP, that is a trend which has consolidated, and it is a trend which I believe in many other states we are likely to see in the coming years.
So I'll show you the vote share for Jammu and Kashmir. I've pulled out a historical time graph of Jammu and Kashmir's votes. The PDP, which won 26% of the votes in the 2014 elections, is currently picking up 11% of the votes that have been counted. That's a 15% fall from the last time. The BJP has actually been able to increase its vote share from 20 to 29. That's a gain of 9%. The NC and the Congress, fighting together this time, are at 39. Typically, they were at 40 last time and 41. I mean, the parties weren't always together, but 40 and 39 at this time. The others, which were expected to be massive gainers, it hasn't quite worked out in quite the same way, from 14 only to 18. And if you actually look at the 2024 data, where Rajat Sethi, the BJP's calculation falls apart, is that the others have only 19% of the vote share, and the AIP of Engineer Rashid has somehow got exposed in the eyes of the Kashmiri voter, and they haven't fallen for that.
But I think contrary to that, BJP is leading in 6 seats in the valley. It is truly historic. I mean, 6 seats, Anantnag, Pompo, Shopian, all of these seats BJP is leading in.
The 3 seats, I said that BJP was leading. 3 seats there are where I said that BJP was also very good with 3 trends, I think the sense with the initial...
BJP is Pampur, Rajpura and Karnal. Those are the seats.
So I tell you what is the catch in that. Many of these seats have only counted the postal ballots.
Correct.
And those postal ballots include significantly the Kashmiri Pandits' ballots, who do not stay there but who vote in the refugee camps big number of time. And it is an old trend that many a time in the initial rounds, in the postal ballots, BJP has actually led even in seats like Amira Kadal, in that way. So, but it is only a matter of time when the EVMs open up and then these leads will subside. In the valley, for sure. In 3 seats, still, I'm maintaining in our numbers, the BJP was very close, number 2, even in our exit poll data. And our eye is going to be on those 3 seats.
You know, the big hit actually at the moment is the AIP and the PDP in the Kashmir Valley. Remember, the PDP dominated the Kashmir Valley in 2014. They've taken a huge hit. So that's the one big change. And the other thing is the JJP INLD. In fact, Haryana is a very easy election in that sense now to explain. The BJP retains its vote share. The Congress gets the entire, almost the entire, 3/4 of the vote share of the smaller parties and the independents. And that was so substantial. When you're 25-30% and you're getting 3/4 of it, you've automatically gone up hugely. So I think the Congress, that's why I think the Congress has to sort of also press the pause button. Haryana is an unusual state where you've had this complete bipolarity. I'm not so sure you'll have the same bipolarity necessarily in Maharashtra. You see, Maharashtra is a state with 6 parties across 2 alliances. Many of the candidates will be powerful. Some of them have aligned with the BJP.
Can I argue that there is bipolarity on whether you are with the BJP or against? So that's the poll. The BJP is the poll,
because of the
and
India
that's the bipolarity.
Yeah, no, in Haryana, please understand, Haryana, the BJP is in power. So the bipolarity is very clear. In Maharashtra, what do you have? You had the Shiv Sena, which was in power with the BJP, which broke away. Now, we don't know whether the Shiv Sena will be the polarity in a particular constituency or will it be the BJP. Maharashtra is the one state which I would hesitate to make predictions based on what happens in another state.
But won't it come down to how the BJP does facing off with the Congress, how Sharad Pawar faction does facing off with Ajit Pawar faction, how Shinde Sena does facing off with Uddhav Sena faction?
There are 3 battles.
That is bipolar.
I think the one worry would be for Maharashtra would be for independents and parties like Prakash Ambedkar. You see, these smaller vote katua parties, as they are now being called, the vote katua parties
they are not going to
finding it more and more difficult in Haryana.
The vote
Jammu and
katua
Kashmir.
party was already shown the door in the Lok Sabha election in Maharashtra, and that was the biggest reason for this strong performance of Mahavikas Aghadi.
Yeah, so you may have. I think that's the one thing that I think is for all smaller parties. The worry really of this election is for the smaller parties and independents. You contested the election in a local election. This is not a general election, but even in a local election where you have strong local factors like Engineer Rashid's AIP or indeed JJP in Haryana, voters are saying,
so bipolarity is a concept.
That's one you must let me complete.
Sorry.
You know, in a state like that, I think you will find increasingly that people are deciding, isko agar harana hai, so let me look for the party which is in the best position. And that didn't always happen in state elections in this country.
No, but
that could be a new trend.
In the last 5 years, there have been only 2 hung assemblies. One Haryana and the other Meghalaya.
Sure, but
so there have been clear lines.
we saw, for example, JDS in Karnataka getting squeezed out because people thought, if I have to defeat the BJP, I don't want to waste my vote on the JDS, I'll vote for the Congress. Is that a trend now in Indian politics?
Yes, but think about this.
It's a national trend.
It's a national trend. But BJP between 2014 and 2019 had advantage of creating this bipolarity. Right? It became a poll. Exactly. There was a fragmented verdict. With 33% vote share in Haryana, they got majority.
Yes.
But by 2019, 36%, they only got 46. Now this bipolarity is going to hurt BJP if BJP does not evolve from here.
And so in other ways, the impact of the India Alliance together, once they've been able to show that this is that one poll where you can coalesce all the anti-BJP vote, anybody who's not part of that bandwagon is left out.
So index of opposition unity comes back now against BJP.
So the index, that's an important index. This was a term that was used by Prannoy Roy in the 1980s. Index of opposition unity. If the opposition unity was strong, the Congress was in trouble. Now the reverse is happening, where the opposition is seen to be united. The BJP is relatively in trouble because the BJP's vote share in many of these states, as in Haryana, is 35%. It's sort of 45% vote.
Both of them. You see, what the All India trend is, that bipolarity is in. In some states, it's going to hurt the regional parties. In some states, it's going to hurt the Congress. As long as Congress is aligned with the regional parties, it is going to work in their favor. You know, as a junior partner, like in Uttar Pradesh, the bipolarity has favored the Samajwadi Party and Congress together in the Lok Sabha election.
Viewers, the retained ratio for Haryana, which seems to suggest that
PDP
of the
now.
40 seats the
They had
BJP
48.
had last time, they are currently retaining only 16. That's 40%. They are currently trailing on 24. That is a loss of 60%. So 60% of the seats they held the last time, they are currently losing. If I look at the strike rate, the Congress has a strike rate of 61%. The BJP has a strike rate of only 31%. The INLD has a strike rate of 1%. A 61% for the strike rate for the BJP, for the Congress in a direct fight against the BJP is quite commendable from the Congress's perspective. I'm comparing the power maps of Haryana from the last time to this time. Look at how much JJP occupied in central parts of Haryana last time round. That's now almost entirely blue. So in the saffron belts, the saffron can still be seen. It's the green that has become blue, and that's how the power map of Haryana has changed quite substantially. So much blue and blue all across.
You know, but there is.
Can I, Rajat, can I stick my neck out and say one more thing from here?
Just a minute.
Although it's a doomsday, Rajdeep, although it's a doomsday for the BJP at the moment in Haryana, but you know, whatever was anti-BJP in Haryana has already polarized for the Congress. Now, my interest is looking into the remaining vote share, where whatever is anti-Congress vote share has not remained polarized completely for the BJP. For the BJP, I look into the further disintegration of whatever is the JJP and INLD anti-Congress vote that is remaining. In the coming election, BJP is likely to get benefited more out of it than the Congress.
But Yashwant Deshmukh, if you look at these figures, this is not doomsday for the BJP. And I circle back to what we began with, which was at 7 a.m. Rajdeep, that it's historic for the BJP. Yeah. Never a party after 10 years has been voted out in Haryana with a mandate which looks close to the numbers that we are seeing. It's always been 5, 10, 15.
So look, we keep saying it's wave, tsunami or Andhi. At the moment, now we are getting back to wave. We spoke about an Andhi an hour ago.
No, we started with tsunami.
We started with tsunami.
It's a simple majority now, Rajdeep.
It's a
very simple majority.
It's a simple majority. If the BJP can cross 30, the BJP can claim, A, it's not been embarrassed, it's retained its vote share, it's a tough opposition. So I think that 50 to 60 becomes a big factor in whatever the final number is.
Being the single largest party
in Jammu and Kashmir, on the other hand, you've actually got a story because as of now, as of this moment, NC plus Congress is 49, so it's over the halfway mark. It doesn't need even Mehbooba Mufti. So you've got a situation now at the moment where actually NC Congress is so dominating, particularly the valley, and is picking up also a few seats in Jammu. Remember, there are 16 seats of a mixed population. There is one of the myths of Indian politics is Jammu is only Hindu dominated. There are 16 mixed population seats and the NC is picking up a few seats at the moment.
They are winning 15 seats from Jammu.
So therefore, the NC Congress is not getting swept out in the Jammu region, which may be good because then whoever comes to power will have to balance both Jammu and the Kashmir belt. So that's one of the stories, Rahul, that's coming. And as we are seeing, the Congress, which was 62 a little while ago in Haryana, is now at 50. So you've suddenly seen a squeezing in of the election verdict. So we're going to see possibly a wave, which is what Preeti predicted, versus an Andhi, which is what I had been predicting.
But all 30 plus seats of the BJP in Jammu and Kashmir, 30 around, they are all coming from Jammu right now. So basically, BJP is default party of Jammu is BJP. Let's concede that default party of Valley is National Conference at the moment. But
what we are seeing is a clear transfer of seats from the PDP to the NC in the Kashmir Valley. The PDP is down 25 seats from the last time, leading currently on 4. The NC and the Congress are leading on 48. 35 of these are for the NC. The NC clearly the number one party in Jammu and Kashmir at this time, 7 more than the BJP. The Congress is leading on 12. The BJP was thinking the Congress will be 4 to 6. Yeah, so they're leading on 12.
But Rahul, the real story is coming in Jammu. The fact is when you look at the Jammu numbers, as of now, and this is only early trend still, 43 leads, NC plus Congress is leading in 15. 14. And BJP in 24. Remember, the BJP won 25 seats out of 37 last time. As of now, NC, the reason the NC Congress is above the halfway mark is not because only of the valley. They are picking up 15 seats at the moment.
In areas like Inderwal, in areas like Poonch, Rajouri, Bhadarwa.
That's right.
The Mendhar.
These are all mixed population.
You know what, Rahul, the leads in Jammu are likely to get consolidated more for the BJP for a simple reason that right now the vote share of about 26-27% that we are looking for the BJP statewide, that means BJP is easily polling 40 to 43% in Jammu region alone. Because remember, BJP is big zero in Valley. So the state-wise vote share of 26% is meaning BJP is 43-44% in Jammu region. And if they are polling 43-44% in Jammu region, the results are likely to be a mirror image in the other side of the Valley region, where National Conference and the Congress are polling more than 40%.
Now look at what is happening in Haryana. You've actually got Haryana, the Congress falling below 50 for the first time. So the Congress has gone to 48 and 38. So now you've got a fight even in Haryana. If these numbers hold, the Congress will form a government once it's crossed 45. But at 49-37, the BJP has every reason to believe that they've given a tough fight. We don't know whether these numbers will hold, given that they're coming from across the region. But where this election is turning, Rahul, in Haryana at the moment, is when we look at the urban-rural divide.
The key is in the vote share.
Just a minute, sir. Yeah. In urban areas, the BJP is leading 15-14 over the Congress. So moment you're in urban Haryana, it's the BJP which is ahead. And even in region-wise, if you go Ahirwal region, the BJP is now establishing its presence 16-12. And in Kurukshetra, where the BJP was trailing, it's now tightened the gap 14-11.
So
it's in
basically
Jatland,
rural.
It's basically Jatland and Bagar where the Congress is leading.
But the key is also in the overall state vote share. Congress is leading over the BJP by approximately 4.5% votes at this point of time.
Not much by Haryana.
You know,
But if this is the case, Preeti, does it mean that the Jat, non-Jat divide, if these numbers hold, and when I say non-Jat, I primarily here refer to OBCs in particular, is that really so sharp on the ground that wherever the OBCs can defeat the Congress also, just as the Jats may want to defeat the BJP, that is showing in these numbers. If these numbers hold, Haryana is a state split wide open.
I don't think
moved from a tsunami to not even a wave at the moment.
Well, with what you're saying, I don't think it's a Jat versus anti-Jat vote. Why I'll tell you is, look at the Jatland right now. You will see the BJP also doing significantly okay. They are leading on 4 or 5 seats where Jatland is concerned. No, similarly, Rajdeep, because if you look at the Ahirwal belt, last time it was a sweep by the BJP. So there is that the Congress has permeated the regions which were strong by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now what it has come down to, and I must tell you, on a lot of these seats, you might see that the others are 3, but it's the highest number of independents that are in the fray in this election in Haryana, over 450 independents. What does that mean? Ultimately, they will cut the vote out of a particular BJP or a Congress candidate, that one of them goes ahead. So there are... The factor of the independent is what we are seeing at play right now. It's not so much of what you're talking of, it is the independents are kicking in right now.
So they're they're dividing the anti-incumbency vote and thereby benefiting BJP. Either way, Rahul, this is actually now becoming a more interesting election even in Haryana, because you're just only 3 above the halfway mark. What was, seen as a sweep, we need to now say is a tight contest even in Haryana.
The devil is always in the detail, and the detail shows that Haryana is now a very tight election in terms of vote share. The gap between the Congress and the BJP is now down to just 2. Earlier, this gap was 6 to 8% when the trends were, coming in a couple of hours ago. Now the gap is just 2. The BJP is actually managed to increase its vote share from 37 to 39 up to the Congress is at 41, just a 2% gap over the BJP. That's a good time to look at what's happening in the direct fights. In the direct fights that are happening between the Congress and the BJP, in the 39 leads that we have, you've got the BJP winning about 62% of them. If I look at the strike rate of the different candidates, the Congress currently has a strike rate of 53%. The BJP has a strike rate of only 42%. So definitely not looking like much of a tsunami, Rajdeep. Not looking like much of an Andhi or Tufan either.
No, it's not even, at below 50, it's not even a wave. It's 47 now. That's only 2 above a halfway mark. So suddenly you've got a remember, you can tell us margin seats. There could be margin seats now in Haryana where the margin is less than 1,000 votes. It's 45-40 for the first time. This is big news. For the first time, the Congress is only at the halfway mark at 45. The BJP has crossed 40. This is huge.
And the others, which you see the number 3 there, now if this is what it holds, 42 for the BJP, if this is what it holds, the other 3 who are leading are the ones who will, in all probability, gravitate towards the BJP.
Absolutely. So,
will all
because one of them
gravitate
is
towards the
Savitri Jindal,
BJP.
for example, who's leading from a
INLD,
BJP.
that one from INLD, the 3 from others will go to the BJP. So you can actually read this, Rajdeep, as 45 and 45.
I still think that you will find one side will move ahead of the other, but
now you're under the half mark.
But now, as of now, you've got a tight fight, 43-43. It's equal in Haryana, 43-43. This is one of the most remarkable turnarounds that's taken place in the last 30 minutes alone. All the laddus, the churma, the Congress was talking about just half an hour ago, Pawan Kheda among others celebrating. It's now 43-43 in Haryana, as tight as it gets. This could be a remarkable twist in the tail at the end of the day. Yashwant Deshmukh, the pollsters, looking at these numbers, are we going to see another day when the pollsters will have to eat humble pie?
No, I will wait for the final results.
You're still confident?
Yes, absolutely. We are still
What we can
confident
do is
about
show our viewers the margin calculator, which gives us very important details. As of now,
BJP is ahead.
there are 51 seats.
BJP ahead. For the first time today, Rahul, BJP ahead of the Congress in
There are
Haryana.
51 seats at this time out of the 90 in Haryana, where the margin between the winner and the runner-up is less than 500 votes. Out of those, the Congress is leading in 30, the BJP on 19. So, ladies and gentlemen, this election...
ये खुलने शुरू हुए हैं, ईवीएम खुलने शुरू हुई है। अभी पहला राउंड हुआ है, पोस्टल बैलेट खुल गए होंगे सबसे ज्यादा से ज्यादा। तो अभी तो बराबर है। हाँ, बाकी अभी राहुल गांधी जी की फैक्ट्री का, जलेबियों की फैक्ट्री का दरवाजा खोला नहीं है, पता नहीं खुलता नहीं खुलता।
अच्छा मिल साहब, कल बड़े रिलैक्स मोड में आप थे, गाना गा रहे थे, जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया। आज भी कोई गाना हो जाए आज के मौके के हिसाब से?
आज के मौके से क्या समझ, ये हंसता हुआ कारवां जिंदगी का न पूछो चला है किधर, तमन्ना यूं ही साथ चलते रहे, खत्म हो न कभी ये सफर।
जो अभी से कांग्रेस के अंदर जो है वो सीएम को लेकर स्टार्ट हो गया है। हुड्डा साहब ने कहा है ना मैं टायर्ड हुआ हूँ ना मैं रिटायर्ड हुआ हूँ।
ऐसी बात अक्सर मैंने बुजुर्गों को कहते ही सुना, जो जवान होते हैं वो ऐसी बात नहीं कहते।
तो सर मुख्यमंत्री आवास में नजर आएंगे आप अपने?
अगर हरियाणा की जनता चाहेगी और हाई कमांड का आशीर्वाद होगा तो जरूर आएंगे, अभी तो दूर नहीं लग रहा। भाई इकट्ठा ही कर लो, कल्ला कल्ला नहीं। देखो
We are witnessing a half-hour, Rahul, that we haven't seen in a very long time, because at 9 a.m., everyone was celebrating in the Congress headquarters. Laddus and crackers were being burst. Guess what? Just in the last half an hour, we've seen a remarkable shift. The BJP was trailing 2-1 to the Congress in Haryana. It's tightened, and it is now a close run race where the margin could go anywhere. Haryana, as of now, and it's of course only 9:45, could go anywhere. As of now, it's hung. The 3 independents, remember, include the likes of Savitri Jindal, a BJP rebel, the JJP, which was an ally of the BJP, and therefore you could argue what appeared to be a wave, Andhi or a tsunami is turning out to be a tight fight in Haryana. That's the remarkable shift of Indian politics that can take place. Congress only marginally ahead now in a tight Haryana contest. Actually, it's in Jammu and Kashmir that we are finding a greater degree of clarity in terms of the fact that the NC Congress is at the halfway mark there, well ahead of the other parties. So what clearly ulat fair, the word that is often used in Hindi, you now have a Congress BJP neck and neck fight that could go either way in Haryana. Now, remember, these are early trends. Much could change in the next 1 hour. We could possibly see one of the two sides pull away if it becomes more and more bipolar. But if, as Preeti says, independents and the smaller parties start picking up more and more votes, then the election becomes tighter all the way.
But Rajdeep, this mirrors exactly that the independents are doing well. Let's not look at that figure of 2 and INLD of 1 there. Okay, even though the 3 will go to the BJP, but the larger picture here is this election has seen a sea of independents in the fray, and those are the ones who've come in and are cutting the vote and taking the vote of the anti-incumbency.
So what happens to the analysis we did 45 minutes ago that India is becoming more and more bipolar?
No, it is because 38%.
The independents are obviously taking votes.
38% to the BJP and 42% to the Congress makes
That's
it
80%.
80%.
I'll give you an example.
So it is getting bipolar, and it is bipolar here.
No, I'll
And the
give you an
BJP
example.
is at the halfway mark. The BJP is at the halfway mark at the moment in Haryana. This is a staggering turnaround of a kind
It's
of
a
much
better
better
performance than 2019.
as of now. So are we seeing perhaps one of the biggest turnarounds in the space of 45 minutes that we've ever seen in recent state elections? A party that was down 2-1 is now ahead. This is quite remarkable. And if that happens, this will be a huge victory for the BJP. Yes, go ahead.
The example that I was giving you, Rajdeep, on how the independents have played a very significant role this election. And this election, with what we were discussing right in the morning, would have come down to only 2 factors. How the Congress is going to do will be dependent on how the independents do. And an example, Vinesh Phogat seat of Julana. Vinesh Phogat is facing off with 16 Jat candidates there. So each
But she's leading.
She's leading, but I'm just giving you an example of one particular seat. She was trailing a short while ago. I don't think she's leading anymore. And 14 Jat candidates.
The big story is we're seeing this turn into a T20 match of a kind you wouldn't have imagined when you tuned in this morning.
Incredible.
It was imagined that Jammu Kashmir may throw up a fractured mandate and that Haryana would be clean. Rajdeep was talking about Aandhi hai ki Tufan hai ki Tsunami hai. It doesn't seem like any of that. It seems like massive mid-air turbulence for the Congress just at this moment. The BJP currently leading at 47. It will be very interesting to see if some life is sputtering back at the BJP headquarters, which are desolate this morning at 47 versus 40. The BJP could be pulling off, at this moment it seems, a historic three-time victory.
This would be a remarkable
Hat-trick of
victory
sorts, if it happens.
I think even if the BJP crosses 40, I think that would be quite remarkable. If they can cross 40,
100%.
10 years after par, it shows that somewhere down the line, perhaps the BJP has managed to consolidate its core vote, especially among non-Jats, to an extent that was unimaginable. Even by us who went on the ground, felt that it was just the other way around, that there was anti-incumbency. But, you know, hats off if the BJP pulls it off. And what will the polls...
It's not, Rajdeep, look at
what
it.
will
It's
the
not
pollsters say?
non-Jats. It's not Jats and non-Jats. Look at the Jat land. It's BJP is leading in the Jat land as per the current number. 10 leads to the BJP and 7 to the Congress.
That's right.
Okay.
And it's
So the pollster is going to say, the devil is in the detail. On the Election Commission website, the Congress vote share is 4% more than the BJP. And if the Congress vote share is more than 4% in BJP, BJP polls generally huge margins in the urban areas.
Right.
All right. So if the Congress state vote share is more than the BJP, then Congress is going to pull it off.
So are you still confident that the Congress will form the government?
Absolutely confident. There is no question about
So
it.
explain to me, how is these numbers show 39, 47
Because these are
there?
you see, these are, with each EVM opening up, please try to understand, small and marginal seats will keep on flipping this way and that way. But whichever party is getting a larger vote share in the state, eventually will end up having bigger number of marginal seats as well. That is why when you and Yogenji were discussing why it happens that many a times the seats go in favor of the winning party more disproportionately. It's not disproportionate. It's very plain statistics. A party which is leading by a bigger vote share in the marginal seats, as and more waves of counting coming by, the marginal seats will go to the party which is having a bigger vote.
Do we know how many marginal seats there are in Haryana?
Yes,
because
I
that
do.
will give us a sense.
So at this moment in Haryana, there are 39 seats where the gap between the party that's leading and the party that's in number 2 position is less than 500 votes. The Congress is leading on 20, the BJP on 18. This would become interesting if one party was leading on a disproportionate number of the marginal seats. The marginal seats at this moment are split
50-50
relatively evenly between the BJP and the Congress, so that doesn't make much of a difference. It is when marginal seats are swinging disproportionately one way that the result can turn. At this moment, the BJP is currently leading on 46, the Congress on 41. If I look at the seats where the margin is less than 1,000, at this moment in Haryana, there are 49 seats where the margin is less than 1,000 votes. The BJP leading on 23, the Congress on 25. So that's not likely to change very much. The split is quite even.
Yeah, and also that the margin of 1,000 doesn't mean that these many are marginal seats right now, because only 1 or 2 rounds of counting has taken place. You know, so you need to keep an eye on only on the 500 things. Those are the seats which are going to be marginal, and that number in the 500 category will keep on going less and less as the counting increases.
But even in 500, both the parties are, Congress is leading 20 and BJP 18. So both have. So what was a one-sided election is definitely a close election.
Again, from pure statistical, Rajdeep, it's pure statistical terms. As the counting will progress, the party with the larger vote share will end up flipping more marginal seats to its favor.
Okay.
Something which I think Bhupinder Hooda would not have imagined, because he was already accepting congratulations this morning, is that he's right now currently trailing.
He's trailing a candidate whose husband was charge sheeted. Manju's husband is seen as a sort of, what do you call them, Bahubali of the area in Rohtak. And very interesting, Bhupinder Singh Hooda's career. The first 3 elections he contested in the 1980s, he lost. He only picked up his political career in the early 90s. Since then, he hasn't lost.
Look at Haryana now, Rajdeep, 37 versus 48.
That's a big gap.
The Congress is slipping and the BJP is gaining. And I want to go across to Piyush Mishra, who's at the BJP headquarters. Things are very desolate, dispirited in the morning. Is there some life coming back to the BJP headquarters?
It is still morning. It's only 10 o'clock.
I think.
Well, Rahul, not yet. Still, BJP has put all its fingers crossed, but the table seems to be turning. Remember that early trends were showing the results of something else, and it was giving a good edge to the Congress party. But now it seems to be, it is now indicating that BJP is now leading on at least 48 seats. As of now, the picture is not yet clear, and BJP is still waiting for the final results to come out. We are right now at BJP headquarters, and let me once again try to show you the pictures from right outside the entry gate. Generally, when we cover the result day, we see a lot of celebrations, a lot of workers here. But as of now, as we are speaking, the workers have not turned up in large number. Only media gear is here. Journalists have come here outside the BJP headquarters. And if the trends which we are right now we are getting, and if these trends turn to be the actual results, and certainly we will see huge celebrations taking place. We were also talking, Rahul, to various BJP leaders, and they were very confident. They were saying that despite having anti-incumbency, BJP was able to fight that. They changed the Chief Minister's face, and they were also very much hopeful of the fact that after removing Manohar Khattar, Nayab Singh Saini's acceptance was a lot there in the common people, the common cadres. This could be the game changer for Bharatiya Janata Party. Also, the kind of ticket distributions have taken place. I still remember, Rahul, that long hour, late night meetings took place at Home Minister Amit Shah's residence, at JP Nadda's residence, where they zeroed in on each and every assembly seat, and after deciding on all the candidates and taking and deciding on one candidate, they had announced a ticket. So BJP had taken at least 1 week after Central Election Committee to announce its ticket, and in its first list more than 60 candidates were announced. So it was a pre-planned strategy on which the BJP was working, and if the early trends which we are right now picking, which is certainly indicating that BJP might form the government, then we will see a lot of celebrations here. As of now, like I mentioned, that only spokespersons can be seen. Workers have not turned out in large numbers, and if results go in favor of BJP, by 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. we will see massive celebrations here at BJP headquarters. Rahul.
You know, it will be great now to go to the Congress headquarters where, remember, the Congress was already celebrating with laddus, with churma, with crackers, and suddenly, and jalebi factory that was being spoken about. Yashwant Deshmukh still maintaining that with a 4% vote share edge, it will be the Congress that could be ahead of the BJP. But as of now, we go by the numbers we see on our screen. And if I'm a BJP supporter and looking at those numbers, I'm going to say this is one of the most massive turnarounds that's taken place in the space of 1 hour. A party which was leading in 20 seats is now leading in close to 50 seats in 49. Now that is even more than they got in 2014 and 2019. So you could have one of the most massive turnarounds that we've seen in recent times. If 2024 was a surprise, this could be an even bigger surprise in the offing.
Can I come?
Sorry? At the moment we have with us, do we have our Congress reporter? No. We'll go to the Congress reporter in a moment, but yes, Rajat.
See, understand in 2014, BJP barely had 33% vote share and it was able to get 47 seats.
Yes.
Then its vote share increased from 33% to 37% and the seats dropped from 47 to 40. Now they are upwards of 37. They're looking at 38% vote share. You might also see a surprise because it's the distribution of votes, how that distribution happens.
But Rajat, the Congress vote share 5 years back, Congress has almost doubled the vote share. You are looking at a 20 to 23% to right 40% plus.
How spread out that vote is and how concentrated the vote is.
Regions,
so this result might as well hold for fairly long time and then you'll see crystallizing around these numbers.
You see, let's do a divide of the region-wise because that will give you a sense. Urban, rural, very clear. BJP leading in 21 urban seats, Congress in just 6. So you've got a strong urban-rural divide that is going clearly towards the BJP at the moment in Haryana. Faridabad, Gurgaon, Rohtak, even Rohtak. At the moment, you've got the BJP showing that it's going ahead. Then you go to rural Haryana, and there in rural Haryana, you see that the Congress is marginally ahead of the BJP, 31 to 27. The BJP, though, is making a comeback even in rural Haryana. You go region-wise in Haryana, in the Ahirwal belt, areas from Gurugram stretching across Mewat, the BJP is sweeping. 21 out of the 28 are with the BJP in the Ahirwal belt. Strong Yadav presence, also strong presence in some parts like Nu of Muslim community, but by and large it is the BJP all the way. Come to Bagar, and this, remember, is an area with a strong presence of Jats, also of Dalits and upper caste. Here, Congress leading in 9, BJP in 6, INLD in 2. INLD holding on to its bases like Elanabad. Come to Jatland, and here clearly is where the turnaround as of now is taking place. BJP leading in 10, Congress in 7. So could there be a reverse counter consolidation taking place here is something that we will be looking at very, very closely.
At least where at least we've identified our regions, places like Gohana, places like Sonipat. This is more to the GT Karnal belt, urban sectors.
And there you've got Kurukshetra, where the Congress is leading in 16 and the BJP
now
in 10.
The Congress is back in the lead, 44 versus 41. Basically, they want to ensure that no punditry is good enough. You just look at the scoreboard and just comment on the scoreboard for what it is.
But this is classic T20, where every over makes a difference. You went out for a quick break for about a minute and a half. From 37 to the BJP, they were 49. They've come down to 42. The Congress was 37, come to 43. One message: either you take an extended break so the BJP goes up to 58 from 49, or you don't take any break at all. The Congress will tell you your friend Pawan Kheda, so that the Congress gets recovery.
No, but this
1.5 minutes has changed it.
But this is very embarrassing for the Congress because if after 10 years of anti-incumbency, the BJP can still make a match of it, Rahul Verma, and still get you to sweat in this fashion. This should have been slam dunk from the Congress's perspective. It's not. It's 43 versus 42. I mean, no matter what happens in the end, the BJP has fought with all that it had and has made life really miserable for the Congress.
I think there were 2 chinks in the armor for the Congress. And I wasn't on the ground, so Preeti and others could tell this more. I think one was, could Haryana become like Chhattisgarh? Where Congress thought it's basically an easy, short victory and they became complacent at the last minute and then it became a match. The second was, if there is going to be a serious sort of like polarization of Jats in favor of Congress, it will create another sort of like counter polarization in favor of Congress, and then it could become a match. So I'm not saying like BJP is like poised to win Haryana after 10 years, but it could become a contest tighter.
I think it's second. I think you're absolutely. You see, I don't think the Congress in Haryana, to be fair to them, for once got complacent. They fought till the end. You had Rahul Gandhi's yatras. They went for it. But the second point you make, I think, is critical. There is counter consolidation. Remember, there were riots in 2016, the Jat riots. And there was a sense that you've got, whether you like it or not, there has been polarization on the ground. In the Lok Sabha elections as well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the BJP led in more constituencies than the Congress, 44 to 40. No, just a minute. You cannot deny, if these numbers, we have to go by the numbers. If these numbers are there, there is a counter polarization that is taking place.
Because if you look at how these numbers are spread out, Rajdeep, it doesn't smack of polarization. They're spread out across all regions in terms of favor for the BJP, even in the Jat strongholds.
What is happening?
Can I add to? Can I add
if
to?
the Jats are 30%, the non-Jats also
Rajdeep, can I add to what Rahul was saying? Point number 3, which I think is actually point number 1, and that would be the role of independents. This, as per me, was a negative election, a negative vote election for the BJP. It was inko bhagana hai, na ki Congress ko lana hai. And therefore, the role of independents come in at that point of time. How well these independents are doing is practically... Rajdeep, no, it's not the figure that you see. It's how many, in terms of the anti-incumbency vote, how much are the independents taking it away?
But the BJP is actually... No, just a minute. It's, you know, in terms of vote share, the BJP is holding on to its vote share. What was our understanding was that the independents and the JJP, the third party vote share is shrinking, going to the Congress, right? What is happening at the moment? BJP is holding on to its vote share, and the Congress is not being able to take it.
It's not holding on to its vote share. The BJP has actually grown its vote share.
That's right.
See, what is happening in Haryana is massively commendable from the BJP's
Either I'm in Congress or BJP.
The BJP's vote share has gone up to 39%, up 2 from the last time. Others are at 12. They are where they were the last time, just 1 down. The JJP is down 14%. The Congress has gained 14%. From the BJP's perspective, this is a massive, massive turnaround. Kumari Selja has been one of the key players in the Haryana elections. She's been quite upset with the way things were handled. She's speaking at this time to Mausi.
मैं आपको कहती हूँ, मुझे नहीं मालूम कौन सा चैनल क्या दिखा रहा है, क्योंकि सब अलग-अलग दिखा रहे हैं, लेकिन ये विश्वास के साथ मैं कह सकती हूँ कि कांग्रेस पार्टी प्रचंड बहुमत से, जो हम पहले दिन से कह रहे हैं, प्रचंड बहुमत से कांग्रेस पार्टी सरकार बनाएगी. बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे, बाय द एंड ऑफ ऑल द राउंड्स, आप देख लेंगे, ये सामने आ जाएगी बात.
एकाएक देखते हैं कि 10 बजे ट्रेंड अगर बदलता है तो वही मेंटेन रहता है शाम दोपहर तक. तो बीजेपी एकदम से सन्नाटा पसरा हुआ था बीजेपी हेडक्वार्टर्स में. कल जब हम आपसे बात कर रहे थे तो आपने कहा था कि 60+ कांग्रेस आ रही है. अभी भी आप कायम है इस बात?
जी, बिल्कुल कायम हूँ, और आप देखेंगे अभी चल रहा है. ऐसा नहीं होता है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. अगर बीजेपी में सन्नाटा था तो उन्हें कुछ इन्फॉर्मेशन तो मिली होगी ना अपने बारे में.
और क्या आपको लगता है वजह है, ये एंटी इनकम्बेंसी है या प्रो कांग्रेस वोट भी है?
बहुत देखो, हमेशा दोनों है. एक भारी एंटी इनकम्बेंसी भी है और भारी रुझान कांग्रेस की ओर है. उम्मीद का है जो कांग्रेस ने काम किया है, राहुल जी ने एक माहौल क्रिएट किया है, ये सब उसका नतीजा भी आप देख रहे हैं.
और कौन होगा सीएम, इस पे लगातार सवाल बना हुआ है.
Isn't it too early? अभी देखो, ये तो चल रही है बातें कई दिन से.
46, चित्रा बता रही है बीजेपी 46 पर जा पहुंची है और कांग्रेस 38 पे है.
कोई बात नहीं, आप चिंता ना करिए, इतनी चिंता मत करिए. कांग्रेस प्रचंड बहुमत से 60+ से सरकार बनाएगी.
आपको लगता है पलटेगा भी मामला?
पलट नहीं रहा, ये डेवलप हो रहा है. पलटने की कोई बात नहीं है, ये तो राउंड चलते हैं.
और सीएम की दावेदारी पर कायम है आप अभी?
क्यों नहीं, क्यों नहीं.
और क्या आपके स्ट्रॉन्ग पॉइंट्स आपको?
नहीं, अभी लेट्स जस्ट अभी इसी चीज पर चलते हैं और एक बार रिजल्ट आने दो, फिर और बातें भी करेंगे.
हुड्डा साहब ना टायर्ड है ना रिटायर्ड.
ठीक है, नो वन इन कांग्रेस शुड बी रिटायर्ड.
शुक्रिया हमसे बात करने के लिए. शैलजा कुमारी यहाँ पे, अंजना चित्रा एक्सक्लूसिव बातचीत में हमारे साथ. कहती हैं अभी रुझान पलटेंगे, मामला जो है कांग्रेस के पक्ष में ही जाएगा.
You are seeing at the moment, as Kumari Selja expresses confidence, is one of the most remarkable turnarounds that I have seen in the last 1 hour in any state election. a party written off completely just an hour ago with all our analysis about wave, Andhi, Tsunami is turning out to be a cliffhanger. Kaate ki takkar is the only way now to describe what is happening in Haryana. Let the pollsters say what they want. This is at the moment now going to be an election that could go down to the wire, Rahul. It could be a matter of 5 or 7 or 10 seats if these numbers hold, of course. Still early trends. 90 minutes, I think, of the most fascinating election lie ahead.
I just spoke to a senior Congress leader. He says Haryana is a small state. There is a 4% plus gap between the BJP and the Congress
3%.
when it comes to vote share. No, there's also CPM 0.5.
Okay.
So he says you do any kind of simulation. In that simulation, the Congress will come out.
That is bizarre logic.
That is their logic.
Absolutely third-class bizarre logic. I'm telling you why.
Okay, why?
If you see JJP's concentration in 2019, and this is the discussion we were having in the studios, JJP was concentrated in the Hisar-Sirsa belt. Only that sort of vote section moved into the Congress. The distribution of the vote share of anti-BJP did not change much. So if they can actually secure with a 37%, 40 seats, now with a 39% vote share, they can go up to 40, 45, 46 seats
It's a
easily.
very difficult
It's a
predict by
proposition.
vote
I think the
Don't go by vote share.
You see, also the Congress is going by historical belief that the BJP, where it wins in Haryana, wins big.
That's
and therefore,
wrong.
even with
That's
a lower
patently
vote
wrong.
share, they may not win the same number of seats because they win big. However, an election can be very different. And as Preeti is pointing out in Jharkhand, if in Jharkhand you actually have the Congress trailing, then you have an election which could go right down to the wire. The numbers are the...
Then Rajdeep, because what is the Jharkhand saying right now? BJP leading at 11, Congress at 6. Then the Bharatiya Janata Party has fought a very astute election because a lot of the independents in the fray, especially in the Jat region or across Haryana, have been put forth by the BJP. When you even go and speak to them, they tell you that on air. And they say it. And all of them have been fielded by the BJP. They are slowly chipping away that anti-incumbency vote of the Congress.
One of the Jat leaders used to say that, when the Tau sits on his cart, and if that cart is provided by an independent, he'll have a small sway in that specific village also.
It's a very, in Haryana, it's very candidate specific.
Right,
it
exactly.
is jiski mooch, uski pooch. Now that could be any party.
Smaller parties and independents doing well in Jharkhand.
All the old sort of logic of Haryana politics is being turned on its head. Kurukshetra, a region where BJP would have expected to win, Congress is leading. Ahirwal, where the BJP was expected to win, the BJP leading. The real turnaround is taking place in the Jat areas where, as I said, Jat consolidation or the fear of a Jat leadership could be resulting in the other communities coming together. Now, will that hold? Will decide this election.
But Rajdeep, let me tell you this. With a lower vote share of the BJP can still result in higher number of seats in the state of Haryana. It is quite likely that Congress has higher vote share and still loses the election.
But the argument against that is that holds true when there is a very strong third player like there was in the case of the JJP or the INLD previously. It is possible, but it is tougher to achieve with smaller, disparate independents.
It's about distribution of the vote share.
Sure, but it's tougher to achieve. If there's a strong third party, it's easier to achieve than with smaller...
Rahul, can we see the Jatland seats and the marginal seats
that's what I wanted to show. So if I look at the seats which are called the Jatland seats of Haryana, 17 such seats. Interestingly, the BJP currently leads on 11 of those, which is up 8 from the last time. The Congress is leading currently only on 6, which is down 6 from the last time. These are seats in the area called Jatland. Let's now look at Kurukshetra. In Kurukshetra, the Congress is currently leading on 14, up 5 from the last time. The BJP leading on 11, down 3 from the last time. In the Ahirwal belt, close to Delhi, bordering Gurgaon, you've got the BJP leading on 19, the Congress on 8. The Congress is up 1 from the last time. The BJP is up 2. In the Bagad area of Haryana, on these 18 seats, you've got the Congress leading on 10, the BJP on 5. If I look at the seats which are currently being very closely fought, 21 seats where the gap between the winner and the runner-up, the party in the lead and the runner-up is less than 500. 11 of those for the Congress, 9 of those for the BJP. If we look at seats where the margin is less than 1,000, 15 leads for the Congress, Rajdeep, 16 for the BJP.
Rahul, can I ask you to cut across to the caste dynamic, and that's where the detail also lies in this. The SC areas, that is the Dalit vote, is being swept by the Congress. And it's strangely the Jat hold where the BJP is doing well. Just take a look
at
so
Actually, these
let's
Rahul,
take our
these
viewers to the
17
Gujar
may not
seats
be
of
Jatland, because we
Haryana.
have
Out
to
of
see
the
those
5
36,
Gujar
37
seats, the
seats.
BJP is leading on all 5 Gujar seats of Haryana. In the seats which are classified as Dalit, Dalit Bahul, which is basically that, Dalit dominated seats, 30 such seats, not just reserved, but Dalit dominated. The Congress is leading on 20, up 11 from the last time. The BJP on 9, down 1 from the last time. In the Muslim dominated seats, 6 such seats, the Congress leading on 4, up 1 from the last time, the BJP on 2. In the Brahmin dominated seats, 2 such seats, the Congress leading on both those seats. In the Jat dominated seats, it's very interesting to note that the BJP is up 6 from the last time. The Congress is at 16. It's the JJP which is at 0. So the JJP's setbacks, the setbacks to the JJP have got split between the Congress and the BJP. They haven't gone to the Congress's fold. Ajay Alok joins us. Dr. Ajay Kumar joins us from the Congress, and Ajay Alok from the BJP. Dr. Ajay Kumar, I come to you first. 50 plus for the NC and the Congress in Kashmir and Jammu. That election seems settled. You were hoping for a big victory in Haryana. Far from, it's turning out to be a T20 style cliffhanger.
Look, I was sincerely hoping that you would have called me an hour and a half back, because it seemed to be an outstanding trend at that time. Look, it's still early for sure. Jammu and Kashmir is a very reassuring trend. So that's I won't discuss that on too much. On Haryana, right now it's surprising for the fact is that though I see that a lot of seats which are coming in are 500 and 1,000 margins from both sides. So I think the more clearer picture will come in an hour's time when those numbers will be much more clearer. I strongly believe that we should be close to 50, close to the 50 number. And the second thing which confuses me a lot, Rahul, is the different channels. Now, by and large, the channels are showing different, the numbers vary between 10 to 12. So early days, but yes, to give credit to the Bharatiya Janata Party that they seem to have done better than what they were doing. And I'm just going to wait for some more time. I was listening to yours, Rajdeep, and Preeti's analysis.
Celebrate. No, but, the fact is, did the Congress celebrate prematurely in Haryana? Because clearly, the Congress seemed to believe that this was a done deal. It was only talk of 50, 60, 70. Now you've got a situation where you're even going to struggle to reach 45. And the fact is, many of these others could well be BJP rebels. So the BJP, even at 40, could form a government. Remember, INLD also has 3 at the moment. They could also join hands with the BJP. You need 45. The BJP perhaps only needs 40.
So I saw the couple of independence names. So those are even Steven. I think Chitta Swara is leading in one of those seats. And so it's very difficult for me to predict what the independents are going to do. That won't be fair. But I sincerely believe that some of these trends, I saw Cattle seat, they were trailing by 400, then they're trailing by 1,000. So it is but by simple logic, Rajdeep, if it's a 42%, 42%, 43% vote share, those 4% vote share should have a significant impact in terms of seats. Unless the seats which you are winning with huge margins. One second.
But Dr. Ajay Kumar, the fact is, this was supposed to be an election that was the Congress's election. Now, what went wrong? One of the biggest factors, many would suggest, was infighting. Look at the political landscape right now. Where the Congress is actually doing well is the SC vote, the Dalit vote. The heartland, where apparently was supposed to be a Hooda wave, where the Hoodas were to be strong in, the Jatland, there at least as of now, the Congress is doing way lesser than what was expected. Could that dynamics between a Kumari Selja, a Bhupinder Hooda been sorted out? Because that war played out very uglily out in the open.
Look, again, very early, very difficult for me to sit on a TV channel and analyze based on what you guys are saying. I understand what the fact is that we should be doing much better on those Jat-dominated seats for sure. Doing very well in SC seats is also an indication of what's happening in terms of the vote base and all. So that's a fact of life. I mean, I don't know how the trends are, but the important part is I think there are 13 or 14 rounds still left for us to count. The margins and the seats are even distributed evenly between the two parties. 500 to 1,000, what Rahul was saying it. My little piece of, as a student of politics, is that if you're at 42%, or 42%, 43%, those numbers, unless you're winning greatly in all those seats, some seats you win a lot of percentage of votes, and just indulge me for a second. In case you get huge leads in all the seats, then those 42% may be skewed. I mean, you might get lesser vote percentage and still win. But if
but
the big story at this time, though, is that the Congress is now down to 34 leads. The BJP is at 48. I want to go across to Ajay, who's joining us at this time. This is very good news from the BJP's perspective. If after 10 years and all the anti-incumbency and everything else that Rajdeep and Preeti said about the BJP's performance in the last 10 years, the BJP ends up in front or puts up this kind of a fight, it leaves the Congress with a lot of humble pie to eat.
You also said it. Now suddenly turning around and saying
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that let's take a look at what Ajay Alok is saying. Ajay.
Well, I was with you guys 2 days back on the days of the exit poll, and I said, what a wishful thinking. I guess this trend shows the beginning of the end of those wishful thinking you had on that 6th of October. Let's see, let's finalize the result. But this trend itself stamps the signature of development, peace and prosperity, and the kind of faith the people have in the governance of the BJP. It just marks the signature of the people's verdict. If the verdict is like this, it's being reflected in the ongoing trends, then it marks the verdict of the people in anti-mood of, the Hooda Congress, the so-called family politics, the so-called the politics of corruption and everything to sum up. But I'd like to wait for another 1 or 2 hours so that this should crystallize.
But it also shows the advantages of tactical management. It's not just the big picture. Yeah, it's not just the big picture. It's also a lot of management on the ground, which is what seems to have brought the Congress at this moment down to 34 leads and the BJP at 48. If this is the way it ends, then the Congress was Hawa mein and the BJP was Zameen par.
See, Rahul, the gross difference between Congress and the BJP is that the BJP Karyakartas are always on the ground, whether election or no election. Whether on the broken street or on the running highway. The BJP Karyakartas are always on the ground, looking for how to improve things till the last moment. We give it everything. I still don't want to comment further. I like to wait for another hour. But one thing for sure, the wishful thinking is beginning to end. Right, Rajdeep?
No, I think it's not just that. If these numbers hold the pollsters who already suffered a blow, the strategists
I would like
who
them to
suffered a
dance
blow.
on your floor. According to your agreement of clause 37B or something, what Rahul was saying, he must dance on the floor.
No, the fact is, all pollsters, all strategists, all reporters who went on the ground said that the BJP
Can
was
we
losing
listen to
this
Bhupinder
election.
Hooda? Just 1 second. Bhupinder Hooda.
What is your response on this election?
जो रुझान आ रहे हैं उसके अनुसार कांग्रेस की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
बीजेपी की तरफ नजर आ रहा है।
नहीं वो तो अभी 2 राउंड 3 राउंड हुए हैं। वो जितने रिपोर्ट जाती है उतने सारा जो खबर आई है कांग्रेस की बहुमत आ रही है।
10 साल के बाद क्या कांग्रेस पार्टी उत्तर भारत में वापसी कर रही है? 10 साल के बाद?
हाँ,
10 साल के बाद क्या
कांग्रेस की सरकार बनने जा रही है।
जो ट्रेंड सर चल रहे हैं उसमें बीजेपी खेमे से कहा जा रहा है कि बढ़त बनाएंगे।
कहीं नहीं बढ़त बनेगी। आप देखना नतीजा है कांग्रेस का जो ट्रेंड आ रहा है वहाँ कांग्रेस का ज्यादा बहुमत आ रहा है।
हजारों लोग नारा लगा रहे हैं भूपेंद्र सिंह हुड्डा जिंदाबाद मुख्यमंत्री के तौर पर आपको देखना चाहते हैं।
ये पार्टी फैसला करती है।
हुड्डा साहब बीजेपी के बड़े लीडर जो पिछड़ते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं, बीजेपी के बड़े लीडर पिछड़ते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं।
कांग्रेस की सरकार बनने जा रही है भाई।
सर आपको किसी अलायंस की जरूरत पड़ेगी या कांग्रेस
नहीं कांग्रेस अपनी मेजोरिटी लाएगी।
सर फुल फ्लैग मेजोरिटी वाली कांग्रेस की सरकार बनेगी, पूरी उम्मीद है आपको?
हाँ कह तो जगह कितनी बार कहना।
सर क्रेडिट गोज टू राहुल गांधी एंड भूपेंद्र सिंह हुड्डा जी ओनली।
क्रेडिट गोज टू पार्टी, राहुल गांधी जी, मल्लिका खड़गे जी, प्रियंका जी, all leaders of the Congress.
So what's your
and real credit goes to the people of people of Haryana.
What will be your priority for government? What will be your priority?
How many questions will you ask? You ask one question. There are others also.
सर काफी रुझानों में क्लोज कंटेस्ट नजर आ रहा है, ऐसा एक्सपेक्टेड था क्या?
नहीं था, जहाँ कहीं कहीं क्लोज है, कहीं कहीं है, लेकिन कांग्रेस इज गेटिंग मेजॉरिटी.
सर आपके लिए नतीजे आने वाले हैं, जो नतीजे अभी दिख रहे हैं?
नतीजे मेरे को मालूम है, कांग्रेस की सरकार बनने जा रही है. अरे नहीं जलेबी खुआ सबने.
ठीक है सर, बंदे
हो गया बेटा. अभी ऐसे जो तुम देख बैठे हो.
And mannerisms are anything to go by, Rahul Verma.
Think so.
That looks like somebody who knows that this morning hasn't gone the way they would have wanted. 34 versus 48. Bhupinder Singh Hooda, hawa udi hai wahi.
Yeah, he didn't look like a man who's a winner. He didn't look like a winner at the moment.
Absolutely. And I think with this kind of trend, now it would be hard for Congress to get a simple majority.
And also remember, the others include a few BJP rebels, the likes of Savitri
No,
Jindal.
in this,
So,
it's not
you know,
even
the
just the
BJP is actually with those rebels around 50.
But Rajdeep, it's not even the others, because right now, not that the BJP needs others, but look at the three INLD. They will immediately go to the BJP. In the others, you have a Gopal Kanda, you have a Savitri Jindal, then from Punari, then from Guhana, the ones who are leading, all of them are candidates put forth by the Bharatiya Janata Party. They're all going to go to the BJP.
But remember, the BJP is currently, the Congress is banking on a higher vote share. They have higher vote share. But Rahul Verma, try and explain why that means very little, because you can have higher vote share dispersed across the state, whereas the BJP with a lower vote share concentrated on key seats still ensures that they potentially end up with a higher tally.
There are many such states with examples where BJP gets lower vote share but gets higher seat share. Karnataka is a classic case because in southern Karnataka,
Rajasthan
BJP,
as well.
Rajasthan also. So there are many such places where even lower vote share can result in a higher seat tally. And this is what seemed to be happening. Perhaps there is a region in Haryana where BJP is not getting both votes and seats, but there are other regions where even a smaller sort of like vote share is leading them to get seats.
You know, I think what is very clear in the regions is that you're seeing, for example, the Ahirwal belt. More than 60% live here in urban areas. Complete domination by the BJP. The BJP is sweeping areas from Gurugram, stretching all the way across the Mewat region. So that's the big 20-7 at the moment to the BJP. You look at Kurukshetra, and here the Congress is ahead, 14-11. This was an area where last time the BJP was ahead. But the story of this election at the moment is in Jatland, where possibly whether the role of the independents who took away the Congress vote or just a counter polarization 10-5. This will decide, I think, what happens in the end. In Bagar, on the other hand, it's close whether Congress is leading 10-5.
How do you explain counter polarization, Rajdeep, where on certain seats in the Jatland, the Jat majority in places over 70%?
Sure.
So you cannot explain counter polarization. This is the area where the plan of the BJP of fielding enough strong independent Jat candidates has worked.
Yeah, we'll have to see whether that actually holds. Remember, as of now, that is the explanation, Preeti, where either it's counter consolidation of a kind wherein there has been chappat phadke voting of non-Jat castes on one side. That has also happened, or the Jat vote has also got splintered with independents.
Vinesh Phogat is currently leading with just 345 votes in Julana on the Congress ticket. Shruti Chaudhary of the BJP is currently leading in Tosham. Savitri Jindal, Naveen Jindal's mother, currently leading as an independent candidate in Hisar. Abhay Chautala currently leading in Elanabad. Aditya Surjewala, Randeep Surjewala's son, is currently trailing in Kaithal. Anil Vij is trailing at this moment in Ambala Kant. Bhavya Bishnoi, Kuldeep Bishnoi's son in Adampur on a BJP ticket is trailing. Chandar Mohan in Panchkula is leading on a Congress ticket. You've got Dushyant Chautala currently trailing on a JJP ticket in Uchana Kalan. Gopal Kanda trails in Sirsa. Chiranjeev Rao in Rewadi on a Congress ticket is trailing. Nayab Singh Saini in Ladwa is leading. Digvijay Singh Chautala in Dabwali on a JJP ticket is currently trailing. So those are, it's Jammu Kashmir that is looking settled. And it is Haryana, where now the Congress is up at 37, the BJP from 48 at 45. So it's Haryana that will keep us in this race, in this game. And who said anything about elections being boring or predictable or one-sided? This is as close, Rajdeep, as close can be.
The only thing the Congress is holding on to, a Congress leader pointed out to me just now, is see our vote share. And his claim is, with this vote share, Jatland will turn, is what his hope is. But I think he's clutching at hope. It is, of course, 8 seats, so it requires a 4-seat swing, which is not much given the number of marginal seats.
But remember, even if it is 42-44, it's advantage BJP.
I think the BJP forms a government at 40. Let's be clear. BJP forms a government at 40. The Congress will need 44 minimum, if not 45. So I think that's the other advantage that the BJP has over the Congress. But this election is those seats of the Jat areas, the 37 seats of Jat majority. If the Congress cannot get a majority of those seats, I think the BJP has the advantage, because in Ahirwal, it's very clear those are strong leads now for the BJP. So the BJP has some very strong leads that are consolidating at the moment.
Consider Nayab Singh Saini. I mean, what an awesome day that he's been having.
Oh,
I mean, he was tweeted up against all odds that he would never come back, and he's barely seen chair properly. He has never enjoyed the comforts of being the chief minister, perhaps. And there you see fortunes turn in minutes. And
if this is what the numbers hold, then this is a victory for Nayab Singh Saini.
Oh, huge victory.
This has happened under the banner of Nayab Singh Saini, where Haryana is concerned, and Rajdeep.
And also give credit to Amit Shah and Narendra Modi.
Yes.
Amit Shah in particular. Amit Shah is the one who played this politics of ensuring lots of candidates, put in the independents, split the anti-incumbency vote. If these numbers hold, you know, after the Lok Sabha setback of sorts, this is a huge victory, and then all our calculations of who has the momentum
and
going into Maharashtra and Jharkhand.
Also on Bhupinder Singh Hooda's leadership, where Haryana is concerned.
Huge
And
question.
as far as narratives go, it really busts the Congress's myth and bubble that they were back, that Maharashtra and Jharkhand are a done deal. If after 10 years of anti-incumbency and all the problems the BJP faced in Haryana, they can pull it off against the Congress, then they'll think Maharashtra, here we come, Jharkhand, here we come. So the narrative changes very, very dramatically. Guru Prakash Paswan, national spokesperson of the BJP, joins us. The Congress was celebrating Deepavali early in the morning. There were crackers and there were doles. It seems it's the BJP's turn to celebrate now in Haryana.
No, certainly, Rahul. And like you said, it is going to be a massive confidence booster for our Karyakartas in upcoming Maharashtra and Jharkhand polls, which is my adjoining state. So whatever happened in the morning and what's happening now, it's a massive, massive transformation. And the credit goes to our Karyakartas, our state leadership, our senior leadership, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, who is our election in charge in the state of Haryana. So I think it's a big, big, big confidence booster for all of us, for the Bharatiya Janata Party cadres. And it also reflects, Rahul, in a sense, the lack of imagination in the Congress camp. The entire election, we saw the tussle between Kumari Selja, Bhupinder Singh Hooda, and on the one hand, we see people of Haryana reposing their faith once again in the leadership of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And I think, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, that it's happening for the first time that a government is going to be repeated in Haryana after 10 years of service. You see, this is what the problem with the Congress party, the focus on one family, the focus on one caste, the focus on one community, whereas the Bharatiya Janata Party, strategically, the Bharatiya Janata Party, as per following the vision, we worked for all the communities. There were leadership, there were representation, there were welfare mechanism covering every single community. So I think with the Election Commission of India website showing a 10-seat lead, it's open in front of me. It's a clear-cut win. It's a clear-cut people's faith in the leadership, in the politics and the policies of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and we look forward to it.
You know, there were lots of people who came, Guru Prakash Paswan earlier, saying that this is a blow to brand Modi, that this is the end, and it cements the decline of brand Modi with the BJP at 46 and the Congress at 36. You know, all those prognoses will need to be tossed out of the window.
No, Rahul, yesterday you and Rajdeep tweeted about how Prime Minister Modi, as Chief Minister and as Prime Minister, has completed 23 years in office. And I think that is something phenomenal. You can disagree with him, you can have different point of views, but as a person who has led from the front as the Chief Minister of Gujarat first and as the Prime Minister of India, 23 years as a head of state, respectively in Gujarat and nationally, that speaks a lot. In a vibrant and an active democracy like India, a person who has sustained, a person who has survived, and a person who still inspires. That means a lot. And I think we are thankful, we are fortunate, we are privileged to have such a great leadership who can lead from the front, come what may. Haryana, every one of you, every single survey, every single exit poll suggested that it is going to be a tough day for all of us today. But 46-36, and it is constantly fluctuating. We see a comfortable, clear majority.
No, but did the BJP expect?
And like I said,
you know, is this beyond your expectation as well? Because in the morning we thought the BJP, you know, the crackers were being burst in the Congress office and the BJP was staying quiet. Is this something that you all expected, or has this surprised you as well?
No. Rajdeep ji, you are a senior journalist. कोई भी election हो, be it a panchayat poll, a parliament poll, a Vidhan Sabha poll, we fight each and every election with a lot of passion, with a lot of enthusiasm. For us, any election is a matter of pride. For our Karyakartas, every single election, you could see that we are ongoing with our Sadasyata Abhiyan, which is a massive membership campaign. But regardless of that, every election is of equal significance. Every election we consider of consequence in the Bharatiya Janata Party, and we gave our best. We gave all there were Karyakartas from across the country who went to Haryana. We have Pravasi Karyakarta meetings which were happening. We have specific community outreach. We have people who articulated the vision, the development, the infrastructure of the Haryana under the BJP and before the BJP. So I think it's a cumulative effort. It's a cumulative effect of all the Karyakartas who were dedicated for the last 2 months in Haryana, Rajdeep ji. And for us, it was not a matter of surprise at all.
You know, Haryana has to be the most confounding state for pollsters. Rahul Verma, in 2019, soon after India witnessed the peak of the Modi wave when they ended up with 303 seats, the BJP lost 21% vote share in the assembly elections that followed soon after. Here, where the BJP came down from 303 to 240, after that, the BJP's vote share in Haryana has actually gone up. So you're like, oh my God, what are these Haryanvis doing in terms of how they're going out and expressing their franchise?
So I think, I don't want to harp on the bipolarity logic, but what seems to be happening is that third party and smaller players are getting squeezed. And in that sense, even Congress is gaining, right? So both Congress and BJP are gaining, which means that smaller parties and independents are getting squeezed. Congress is gaining largely the Jat votes of JJP, and BJP is gaining the non-Jat votes of the smaller parties. This is what is leading to basically parties gaining votes, but seat distribution.
You know, now I've got a Congress leader again clutching at straws, saying that the rounds that are done are largely of urban votes. You're not catching the rural votes. The rural votes will come and then the thing will swing. I think they're clutching at straws at the moment. I think there is a Congress strategist who has admitted we will be close to a majority. Now here is someone who told me that we will be 2/3. He's now talking of close to a majority.
But Rajdeep, I want to ask Amitabh ji, because if you now look at what the result was in Lok Sabha 2024, this actually mirrors that.
Somewhat.
This actually mirrors that. Well. Exactly what the Lok Sabha election
is doing well.
BJP is doing better.
And others are gaining at the expense of Congress, if you compare to the Lok Sabha results. But on the Election Commission website, if you see, across seats, only 2 to 3 rounds have been counted.
No, but also
only 2-3 rounds.
Also look at the fact that there are now only 5 seats.
16 to 18.
Only 5 seats where the margin is less than 500 votes. So the election's also opening up. It's not as tight
How
as
many
it was.
below 1,000 rounds?
So 5 seats.
13
where
seats
the margin
below 1,000.
is less than 500 votes.
On the Election
Congress
Commission
is leading on 2. The BJP is leading on 3. If I look at the number of seats where the margin is less than 1,000, it's only 16 seats. So this election is opening up. It's settling down. Congress leading on 8, the BJP leading on 8. What an even distribution reflects is that the chance of this now getting skewed in either direction is reducing. So if this is the trend that appears, I'll take you through to the seats where the margin is less than 3,000. There are 50 such seats. The BJP leading on 28, the Congress on 19. But more consequential would be the seats where the margin is less than 1,000 votes, where it seems to be very evenly distributed. Rahul Verma, try and put this in a statistical framework for us. If the distribution is even 8 versus 9, it would suggest that now if you're expecting for a massive reversal, it may inch closer, but a massive reversal is most likely quite unlikely now.
Yes, and the reason is because the marginal seats are equally sort of distributed. If it was in one way, then you could see that this party losing seats is going to the other way. But given that there is an equal distribution, I think even when we have just 2 to 3 rounds counted, this is a good signal where the election is heading. The reversal is possible, but the chances of that happening is now lower.
Unless, of course, the counting is such that there are wild variations in the rounds. Which typically doesn't happen.
Just a point. In Lok Sabha, this is almost mirroring Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha, if you see, 44 seats were led by the BJP, 42 by the Congress, right? You're virtually ending up in a similar situation as the Lok Sabha. So whatever happened, I mean, the one who will be celebrating as a moment, looking at this is my friend Gopal Kanda. Now again I say friend, you'll say my friend. But these are people who I have sort of interviewed over the years. I call them friends.
Why not your friend Abhay Chautala?
Abhay Chautala, all of them, the 2 seats of INLD, because even at 42, the independents get into play. You're looking, the Congress needs a 6 to 7 seat shift. Not easy at the moment, not impossible.
The Congress needs at least 44, Rajdeep.
The Congress, so that's why I said a 6 to 7 seats shift.
Dushyant Chautala in Uchana Kala is coming 6th. At this time, he's coming 6th.
So the INLD is doing better than the JJP. INLD is doing better than the JJP in their Sirsa belt. They're doing better. But, JJP is getting wiped out. But the wipeout of the JJP is not benefiting the Congress necessarily. Because in those areas, it is the BJP.
Because Rajdeep, it comes back to that same question. This was possibly an anti-incumbency vote election, not a pro-Congress election.
Right.
And what has happened is that every other player, be it the small independents, they have chipped away slowly at the anti-incumbent.
And I think there needs to be a Dalit analysis also to be done, because Congress is very heavily banking that all the Dalits are now gravitating towards the Congress, and this is a big sort of a central theme that Rahul Gandhi is running with.
No, but
in Haryana,
if I look at the 30
okay, Bhupinder Singh Hooda is leading by a big margin now, 17,000 votes. So he's leading in Gadi Sampla where he was trailing.
If you look at the 30 Dalit-dominated seats, not just the reserved seats, but the Dalit-dominated seats of Haryana, the Congress is leading on 19 of those, up 10 from the last time. The BJP is leading on 11 of those, up 1 from the last time. The problem for the Congress seems to be in the Jat-dominated seats. Seats which they were taking almost for granted ki ye to hamare hi hain. There, in the 36 Jat-dominated, and by dominated I mean that the community is in the position to be able to influence the end outcome with 20% and more representation. There, the BJP is leading on 19 such seats, up 7 from the last time. The Congress is leading on 15 such seats, up 2 from the last time. This is where the election in Haryana seems to have turned. Amitabh Tiwari, the Congress was taking these seats for granted.
In Lok Sabha elections, Congress was leading on 27 of these seats.
The Jat-dominated
BJP only on 10. Correct. So they had swept the Jat land. So most of the seats which Congress was leading on in Lok Sabha, 27 out of 42 were coming from the Jat land. And here perhaps the smaller parties, independent, 17, 18.
The spoiler in the Jat land is exactly that.
The smaller parties are probably spoiling the chances of Congress in the Jat land. Whereas the JJP's vote is shifting towards the Congress, but that is predominantly only in one region, which is Hisar. Otherwise, in other regions,
I'll show you the new power map of Haryana, looking very different from the way that it did at 9 a.m. Now, if you see Haryana, southern Haryana, eastern Haryana, very strongly saffron. It's northern Haryana, which is looking blue. And that's how things have changed. The greens have come down. The greens have shrunk. The JJP, which had 10, now at 0. The INLD is at 2. But in central Haryana, there's a very strong saffron surge which can be seen. If you look at the vote shares for Haryana, here again, the battle is very, very tight. The Congress at 28% vote share last time, this time 41. The BJP at 37% vote share, this time 39, up 2. So this election has turned, and this is to the BJP's huge credit, Rajat. even you weren't willing to think that the BJP might win in Haryana, but I remember going to Parliament, sitting with Dharmendra Pradhan and Biplab Deb, and they said, boss, aap logon ko kuch nahi aata, aapko kuch nahi pata, dekh lena hum jeetenge. And I thought, naturally, as Prabhari of the state, what else is the guy going to say? He's going to say he's going to win. But if this is how they've pulled off, then hats off to Dharmendra Pradhan and to Biplab Deb and to Amit Shah for having pulled off one of the most remarkable victories. 10 years of anti-incumbency, 2 terms of being in power, and yet being able to best the Congress is a very big victory,
The first time that any government has consecutively come to power the third time round. If it happens.
This will go down in history books, this election, as a classic case study on how vote share distribution matters more than vote share alone. How, very silent reverse consolidation happens, not typically captured by the more vocal voters of a constituency, where there are silent voters quietly coming in and voting. Also keep in mind that the vote share, the polling percentage was lower. It was just 68% lower than, historical trends in Haryana, which also indicates that Congress was maybe not able to, unleash the kind of voter fury which would have reflected in a much higher polling percentages. BJP ensured that the temperatures on the ground remain more calmer, not as heated up as the Congress would have anticipated. And I think it's a classic case of slip between cup and the lip for the Congress party. They started rejoicing of a potential victory way too early, the way they did in Chhattisgarh, and I think they have to be humble by it.
You mentioned Chhattisgarh, which is perhaps the closest to what is happening now, because there again the Congress was celebrating almost as if it had won the election, and they just needed to come and contest, and the election was done. The micromanagement of the BJP, if these elections hold, the ability to be able to go constituency by constituency, region by region, versus the Congress which sort of put all its eggs in Hooda's basket. This could be the end of, if these numbers hold.
It'll be end of his career.
It'll be the end of Bhupinder Singh Hooda's career, because this was the last election in a way at 77.
It'll be reconsolidation of the Congress in Haryana if these results hold.
No, the Congress, forget about reconsolidation. It will push the Congress several steps back, because
you will need to think of a new formula. Number one, where the Congress is concerned, if these numbers hold. The likes of Kumari, Selja, who you removed, because, if you look at the Dalit vote, it's still supporting the Congress right now, at least with these figures.
No, and the role of paroles.
Randeep Singh Surjewala's son is trailing at the moment in Kaithal.
And remember, Rajdeep, the role of paroles in elections. Baba Ram Rahim getting parole at the right time, sending out a message to vote for the BJP in a tight election. Every vote matters, and when the gap is only 2%, every Baba on parole is useful.
Yeah, that's not a great thing for any party to do, to have someone. But I think at the end of the day, the BJP has done Sam Dam, done Bhed, you could argue in that sense. But the fact is that they saw opportunity when nobody else did. Pollsters didn't, reporters didn't, strategy. I have yet to meet one person who told me BJP is winning. People said BJP, I'm trying to think. Somebody, who covers the BJP said, no, BJP leader also yesterday said they're winning. They said they're in the fight. But nobody said they're winning, and everyone uniformly...
But this is the second time this has happened. Remember, this happened last in Chhattisgarh, where against the whole Congress ecosystem was 100% certain कि Chhattisgarh तो जीत ही रहे, Madhya Pradesh क्या पता जीत जाए, Rajasthan is tough.
Exactly.
In exactly the same fashion, whether it's the overconfidence or the hubris, has put them under stress, where the BJP seems on the verge of pulling off a remarkable victory, Rajdeep.
And the flip of it is Jammu and Kashmir, which we thought will be very tight, we'll see the NC Congress has reason to smile, but that's, for the Congress party in particular, this will be a bad day in the office, terrible day, going ahead to Maharashtra and Jharkhand. For the BJP, which 5 months ago felt that, they didn't get the 300 plus that they wanted, this will be seen as a huge sign that the BJP is back in business and very strong in the states.
The wife of one of the top union ministers, we were just chatting with her, and she said, in politics, in 1 hour, things can change. Between 9 a.m. on the 4th of June and 10 a.m., things change, and the whole narrative, she says, changed. It's the same for Haryana. Now, what happens in Haryana will have a consequence in Maharashtra and Jharkhand. In a matter of an hour and a half, the whole narrative has changed. If the Congress can't win Haryana against the BJP in the kind of condition the BJP was in, then Maharashtra is game on from the BJP's perspective.
Rajdeep, with what you say. But this is actually strangely coming in from a BJP leader in Haryana, because I was, I told him that he's doing really well. He's saying, abhi ruk jaiye, sirf 20,000 vote count hue hain, 1,40,000 mein se. This is coming in from a BJP guy.
Look, that being said, what is very clear is what was all the
trend is
pollsters,
there.
you know, the trend of a one-sided election is a kaate ki takkar. Whether it goes now one way or the other, whether 5 seats swing, the 2 end up around the 40s, both, all of that aside. The truth of the matter is the BJP has done a solid comeback in Haryana. I use the word comeback because they were written off.
Yeah.
So a party which is written off is making a solid comeback. So whether the numbers are much closer eventually will depend.
But why is the counting so slow? Usually by this time...
Why are you Haryanvis so slow counters? I thought you guys moved quickly.
It's all on machines right now. We're not sitting and counting.
Way to sort of like now do a reverse thing in Haryana, which is rather than looking at marginal seats, can you look at seats where parties are leading? Because that will give you a picture of what percentage of seats are getting
That's
clearer.
a very important point that Rahul Verma makes. Let's take a look at the seats which now seem quite settled, and I'll pick seats where the gap is more than 10,000. If the gap is more than 10,000, to my mind, now that seat turning is very difficult. At this moment, there are 83 seats out of 90 where the gap is more than 10,000.
Less than 10,000. No, sorry, Rahul, this is less than 10,000.
Let's look at the seats where the gap is more than 25. Let's look at the gap where the... So there are only 1 seats.
Choose 5,000, Rahul. 5,000 may be fair.
No, but this is again less than 5,000.
Okay.
So less than 5,000 won't help because there are 66 seats where the gap is less than 5,000. The BJP is leading on 34. The Congress is leading on 27. So there the BJP has that advantage. But remember, the seats that can turn, frankly, are the seats where the gap is less than 1,000. If you look at the seats where the gap is less than 1,000, there are 12 such seats. And those are evenly split between the Congress and the BJP, 6 versus 6.
You see, the only question is how many rounds are done. If it is only 5 rounds out of 18 to 20...
So this is a BJP leader who's leading and he's saying... And he's not accepting any congratulations from anyone. He's saying सिर्फ 20,000 count हुई हैं, 1,40,000 है.
No, but also spend a moment thinking of the Aam Aadmi Party in Haryana. You know, so much was said, Kejriwal, Haryana ka ladka, he'll go and campaign, he didn't want to do this. Now, if this is the way it ends up, questions will be asked, Rajdeep, later about whether it would have made more sense for the AAP and the Congress to campaign together. Maybe it would have not added too much in terms of seat share, but a few extra votes. AAP hasn't got any lead at this moment. 0 is what they have at this moment. The Congress struggling at 36. If they had potentially allied, it may have made things slightly different and slightly better.
But it wasn't of the Congress. Aam Aadmi Party is choosing.
Sure, but both sides. I mean, they couldn't make it happen.
I think, you know, what we saw in Chhattisgarh, for example, the BJP putting up a lot of independents, propping up a lot of smaller parties. We saw that in Haryana. On the other hand, the Congress was so confident, Rahul, that they were going to win this election. Even when the Aam Aadmi Party wanted 5, they said, Acha, even if we give you 5, we will give you the 5 seats where you're losing. You didn't want to give them the winning seats. So you see, the Congress's biggest flaw always is ever since the Lok Sabha elections, they got 233 as an alliance, 99 to the Congress. They think they've got 272.
No,
the BJP, on the other hand, even after getting 240, is probably saying, yaar, ab chunav aur ek hai, use jeetna hai. There's still a difference in the way the BJP approaches an election to the way the Congress. All of this I'm saying, at this moment, it could still turn. There could still be 5 or 10 seats here and there. But the fact of the matter is the BJP has put up a remarkable performance in Haryana, irrespective of what happens
But the Aam Aadmi Party, whatever the result is, Rajdeep, will be looking at this saying, I told you so. Because word coming in on certain seats, the Aam Aadmi Party is even polled less than Nota. You know, if you look at the fine print there, they have done quite badly in certain seats. But this will have a bearing on the Delhi elections now, Rajdeep. You cannot be overconfident, both for the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress.
But look at the chatter that was coming in from Congress. They were counting the eggs before it was hashed. And look at the deliberations. Kumari Selja's only deliberation was like, who will become a CM and who will become a deputy CM. They started
but hubris is dangerous for all parties. The BJP was convinced 400 par in the Lok Sabha elections. That proved to be their undoing. The Congress was concerned, Andhi, Tufan, Tsunami, that's all that matters, nothing else matters. Now they're ending up at 36. So hubris is very, very dangerous.
You know, also, Rahul, I think elections at the local state level are very different to Lok Sabha. You know, elections at the state level are so localized increasingly. People say, Mera candidate kaun hai? Haryana we thought was different, but even Haryana is proving that every constituency has candidates who can pull in 1,000, 2,000. I mentioned this about Maharashtra. Independents and those who don't get the tickets from the major parties are people who can pull in 5,000, 6,000 votes. So you've actually got a situation, even amidst the bipolarity, in a localized state election, you have to do micromanagement. The Congress will have to ask, did you do, you know what happened in the Congress meeting, Rahul? Virtually the entire state was outsourced to the Hoodas to decide on tickets. Kumari Selja got 5 or 6?
9.
Chalo 9, you could argue 6 or 9.
Yeah.
Randeep Surjewala got he wanted to contest himself, but they said 3, including his son. Effectively, about 70 to 72 seats were decided by Mr. Hooda. Then, because your pollsters
6
said
were
that you're
directly
winning
by
big,
Gandhis. 6 were Gandhis.
yes, the
6
pollsters,
candidates were
so
given by
basically
Gandhis.
about 70 out of 90. Once your pollsters said you're winning, you thought, chalo yaar, put all your eggs in Hooda's basket. Now, was that wise strategy in the end? Could you have run a more collective leadership? Could you have given Kumari Selja a greater share? All these questions will have to be asked if these numbers hold. I mean, the Congress will have wiped out all the benefits they had from their Lok Sabha performance if these numbers hold. You're going into Maharashtra with a relatively demoralized Congress if these numbers hold, and an upbeat BJP once again.
But you know, look at Mahavikas Aghadi. It's a clear lesson for them. They are only debating on who will be the chief minister.
Exactly.
See, now, that's a wasteful debate. I mean, this is not people's concerns, people issues as to who will be the chief minister. It's like putting a united stand together and, you know, removing the differences. Otherwise, every single thing is going to really bite them. See, and I think BJP has an advantage here.
Sorry. What happens when we are analyzing others is that we look at the vote share and the seat share. But we have to look at the statistic, which is in how many seats others spoiled the chances of the winner or the runner-up, which is when others score more than the victory margin. In Haryana, it has always been more than 45 seats.
And that's what's happening here.
And it could also be in concentrated regions, right? And that could also...
वो आपको दिखता नहीं है कि भाई others को seats नहीं आई, votes नहीं आई.
No, but the other big difference...
spoiled the chances of somebody.
The other difference is that in Karnataka, Siddaramaiah and Shiv Kumar, for all their differences, would fight at night.
Absolutely.
But in the morning, work towards a common purpose.
Common goal.
They were able to come together for the larger cause. In Haryana, the relationship between the Hoodas and Selja was so bad, and even Surjewala, that they didn't even work together. They were almost looking in opposite directions and, ठीक है, तू अपना कर ले, देख लेंगे बाद में. So they didn't work towards a common cause, and I think 36 reflects that.
Didn't even speak to each other, because I think your channel only,
Kumari Selja said that.
When did she last speak to Hooda? She did not have the answer.
You know, and that is precisely because, as I said, I think the mandate of 2024 Lok Sabha, 99 seats gave you a sense that we are, you know, we are 240 or we are 250. You're 99. You know, the Congress has to realize that every election is different from the other. You have to fight them distinctively. Even in Maharashtra, I've heard Congress leaders saying, we will be the single largest party, we'll get the chief ministership. Arey, chunav bhi nahi hua hai. Chunav shuru nahi hua hai, and Congress leaders in Maharashtra are talking about chief ministership. I think in Haryana,
But that changes. That changes. If this is the result, that hubris about Congress appointing a chief minister in Maharashtra is out of the window, first survive. You know, the reason that they did better than expected in Lok Sabha is because they weren't expecting to, and therefore they kind of, you know, just below the radar crept
But you
over.
know, it's bizarre. There is a web channel which is also tracking the election, which, Pranoy Roy has. And he, at 15 minutes ago, was giving Congress 55, BJP 29. So I don't know where these numbers are coming from on Decoder, which they have. The fact is that, you know,
if you look at ECI, I think the trend is now in favor of BJP.
The ECI trend is the clear trend. The ECI trend is showing the BJP is ahead.
No,
and I think we should go by
that. The ECI trend already is much bigger than any exit poll or post-poll study.
Even, you know, Yashwant was, you know, his team is tracking it there. They too are now saying the BJP is ahead. So I think the BJP is certainly in that race, because being single largest will also become important. If I'm at 44, whoever is 44 can have, can get the independents on their side. We keep saying BJP needs 40.
No, and
so
then the
BJP
big winner of the day is Omar Abdullah, and the second big winner of the day is Nayab Saini and the BJP, because the Congress may end up in government in Jammu and Kashmir, but that's only riding pillion on the NC scooter. Whereas in Haryana, where they were in a direct fight, in a direct dangle with the BJP, it's the BJP that's bested them.
True. And what's also happening in Haryana, on ECI website, the vote share gap is closing. So what was 3% gap in favor of Congress is now less than 2. And slowly something which you and Yoginji were discussing, why the winner takes up larger seats, is when more and more votes are going to get counted, the margin with the bigger number is always higher. And so now that is going to translate in favor of BJP compared to what you were thinking in terms
So
of...
what you are saying, this is interesting, if the vote share is more or less even, the BJP is benefiting disproportionately at the moment because they've gone up also in terms of vote share far more than the Congress has, you know, and the Congress on the other hand, once it's an even vote share, then it's anybody's game, right? Up to now we were saying because the Congress was 3% ahead, therefore the Congress might get a disproportionate number of seats as the votes are counted. That gap, if anything, you're saying is reducing, it's not widening. So clearly the BJP with every round counted is actually narrowing the gap rather than...
And has a higher probability of now keeping this...
So you see, I think this is the most fascinating election because in the space of 2 hours from crackers, I would love to meet Pawan Kheda. We've got to get Pawan Kheda on the show today. He was crackers, laddus.
Now they can't say EVM mein jhol hai.
That's
now
right.
they can't even say, after having already burst the crackers and had the sweets, now they can't say Amit Shah and Modi have fixed the election.
And you see others in JNK now, 10, almost 10 now.
Okay,
JNK
so we
is
can take
also
a look
turning
at
into a story.
If we take a look at Jammu and Kashmir, because the big turnaround in Haryana meant that Jammu Kashmir went out of the headlines just for a moment. 9 leads for the others. This includes 7 independents and 2 People's Conference. So 2 for the People's Conference, Handwada being one of them and Bandipora being the other. So you've got a situation where Sajjad Lone is winning in Handwada. He's got 9,799 votes, People's Conference. And in Bandipora as well, you've got Usman Abdul Majid, who's currently leading. So those are the leads coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where it seems very comfortable that the NC and the Congress will form the new government. Out of these 48 for the India Alliance, the Congress has 8, the NC 39. Remember, the Congress fought 32, so their strike rate is only 1 in 4, whereas the NC is at 39, clearly carrying the day. And the likes of Mamata Banerjee will turn around and say, this is the problem, Congress is the Kamzor Kadi.
You know, if these numbers hold, I think, as I said, the Congress is the one which today is the big loser. You lose a state where you expected to win because of 10 years anti-incumbency. You piggyback, some would say, on the National Conference, which is doing strongly and therefore is proving that they have the organization and they had it. You go to Kashmir, the Congress changed the Congress president just weeks before the election. Ghulam Ahmad Mir was dropped and Mr. Kada was brought in. He's winning his own seat. But that really shows when you change your party president just weeks before the election that something is wrong on the ground. In fact, Mr. Mir is in charge of Jharkhand as a general secretary of the Congress. In Jammu, on the other hand, you didn't invest enough time in putting, sending a Priyanka. Why did you send a Priyanka Gandhi Vadra?
Rahul didn't campaign much in Jammu.
He hardly did.
And
Priyanka did one rally there.
If that's where you're putting up your maximum candidate, that's where you should campaign. This is really Omar Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah's victory.
And let's
Even
be
in
clear.
Haryana, Rajdeep, other than the last 3 days when Rahul Gandhi came in, Priyanka Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi practically gave Haryana to the Hoodas to even campaign. Who campaigned? You had a Sachin Pilot who campaigned in the Ahirwal region. You had a Dotasra who came in from Rajasthan. But the top leadership of the Congress saved the last 3 days. The dying hours of the election did not campaign.
No, but Rahul Gandhi did 3 or 4 yatras there. He did about 8 or 9 rallies. He can't now, you see, you can't say that Rahul Gandhi...
4 rallies.
Yeah, but that's not, the fact therefore is that Rahul Gandhi was expected to do more, right? He did a yatra. Did they take Haryana for granted? Then will be the question. Did they get overconfident? Or did they put all their eggs in the Hooda basket and that has recoiled on them?
They didn't read the political landscape. This is something which I have to say. One local journalist from Jeend told me. And he says, Congress को ये समझ नहीं आ रही है कि कितने निर्दलीय खड़े हैं. उनको गिनती भी नहीं समझ में आ रही है. और ये अगर एक निर्दलीय 2000 वोट लेके जाता है, कांग्रेस 2000 वोट में इलेक्शन हारती है सीट पर.
There were lots of firecrackers, doles at the Congress headquarters. Let's go back to Rahul Gautam and let's see what's happening at the Congress headquarters now. Congress leading only on 35. The BJP on 49, seeming to be heading towards forming a government once again in Haryana. Where are all the guys with the doles and the firecrackers, Rahul?
Well, they all have disappeared, Rahul. I'll just show you the current scenario here at AICC. There are hardly any Congress workers now. There are a couple of spokespersons who are still here and engaging with the media persons, saying that they are still confident that Congress will come to power. But holes, sweets, all sort of things that we saw early in the morning have gone now, and this clearly shows that how Congress at this point of time, I can tell to our viewers, is in panic mode. What numbers are playing at the screens now. Congress is obviously worried about the situation which is unfolding in Haryana. We've been informed that shortly from now, the 3 observers that were appointed by Congress party, Ashok Gehlot, Ajay Makan and Pratap Singh Bajwa, they are likely to go to Chandigarh in order to salvage the situation. So clearly, you can say that the party is over as far as Congress is concerned for Haryana, and clearly there is sort of a silence, which we are now witnessing here at AICC headquarters.
Okay, let me go to Dr. Shama Mohammed, National Spokesperson, Congress at the moment. Shama Mohammed, it's been quite a roller coaster, at the end of which it appears the BJP now pulling ahead of the Congress in Haryana. This is a bad day in the office for you if these numbers hold, because it means that the Congress is not even being able to take advantage of seeming anti-incumbency in Haryana. You all were bursting crackers 2 hours ago. The crackers have gone silent.
Rajdeep Sardesai, you're a very, very senior anchor and a journalist, along with Rahul and Preeti sitting there. You know that at 11 o'clock there are trends. The EC doesn't say anybody has won, they say leading and trailing. Now, Haryana is a small state. Each candidate's vote varies, the winner and the loser, sometimes between 2,000 to 3,000. So definitely by 12 we will get to know what exactly is the situation, and not now. And even right now only 20% of the votes have been counted. So how can we say that we are doing not well or not good? I'm telling you, by 12:30, Congress party will be having majority and we will be winning this election. I'm sure of it. I've been doing this for the last 10 years and I know by 11 nobody can know anything. It takes around 12:30 in a state like Haryana, where the difference is not much between the candidates when they win or lose.
You're saying that, but now the numbers have the trends at least have solidified in the last half hour or so, and there is a clear gap emerging. There was talk of an Andhi, tsunami, wave, all of that is being thrown out of the window.
Rajdeep, I was there in Haryana. Okay, I have been there, and when I went there, I felt for sure it's a tsunami. All different people, even the Bharatiya Janata Party people were admitting that it's going to be a tsunami for us. So then it is not, it's not a surprise, but something else if things go in the other way. See the Jawans, the Shingu border, the wall built over there, the Kisans from Punjab could not come this side. There's a lot of anger against Agniveer. There's a lot of anger on what the Bharatiya Janata Party has done to Pahalwan. There is unemployment, and as you've seen, there was no photograph of Mr. Modi, or for that matter.
But Shama Mohammed, all well and good, but no, all well and good. One could have accepted this argument if the numbers were reversed. If today, right now, Shama, if the Congress stood at 49 and the BJP at 35, which is the current trends, one could have accepted and actually argued that point of view that this is a referendum against the central schemes, be it Agniveer, farm protest or the wrestlers protest. But this doesn't look like that.
No, but again, Preeti, you're also a senior journalist. You know that the trends at 11 is not what is going to be at 12:31. I'm repeating it again and again. Haryana is a small state. Let's wait till 12. If you right now tell me, Shama, 30 of BJP candidates have won, then I will admit 40 BJP candidates have won, then I will admit there is something called leading and trailing. I have seen numerous times in my last 10 years where trailing has gone up to leading. And I am telling you right now, Preeti, we will win this election. Wait till 12 and then you talk to me.
No, we can wait till 12, ma'am, but either way, for a party... Ma'am, we can wait till 12 for either way for a party that was celebrating a victory at 9 a.m. with crackers. Did you all celebrate prematurely? Did overconfidence get the better of you?
See, you have to understand one thing, Rajdeep. There are people called the Karyakartas, all right? Karyakartas of every party celebrate feeling that they're going to win. We can't hold them back. They are our pillars. And I always respect my Karyakartas more than anybody else. I myself am a Karyakarta of this party. So different people have different ways of celebrating. Let them celebrate. It's fine. It's nothing wrong in it. But yes, what I certainly feel, I'm somebody who looks at the glass half full and not half empty. And I certainly believe, or what I experienced in Haryana when I traveled across, is that we are winning this election 110%. Wait, Rajdeep, have some patience and no need to keep saying, you guys are right now talking as if the Bharatiya Janata Party has won and what has gone wrong with the Congress. That is what I was listening to your discussion along with Rahul and Preeti. And the talk started, there was an issue with Kumari and there was an issue, Kumari was not talking to Hooda, all those things. Anil Vij was not even talking to Saini. So there are issues there also. So let's wait. Why this hurry of declaring a victory before a victory has even been declared by the Election Commission of India?
No, but then it was not us, ma'am. You all were celebrating. You're saying Karyakarta's word. Typically, though, there was a sense, Kaun Banega Mukhyamantri was the Congress's narrative instead of Kaise Jeetna Hai Chunav. For the last 2 weeks, all I've been hearing...
Can I also just point out that on an average, 4 to 5 rounds are done. There are 17 to 20 rounds. The 4 to 5 rounds of poll counting which has already happened is much bigger than any poll. Statistically, the trends are set. So if the Congress thinks they can end up at 49 and the BJP at 35, that aren't happening.
Yeah.
It can go up a little, this can come down a little, but the trend of the BJP likely ending up as the single largest party in Haryana is quite settled. And frankly, this is massively embarrassing for the Congress because after 10 years of anti-incumbency, if you still can't beat the BJP, this is Chhattisgarh all over. You are so confident that you are winning, and in the end you haven't. I want to introduce Hasib Drab, who understands Jammu and Kashmir politics, has made the special effort of coming down to our studio. So thank you very much and welcome, sir. I want you to take our viewers through what's happening in Jammu and Kashmir, right? Because Haryana was supposed to be a clear verdict. Jammu Kashmir was supposed to be the Kante ki takkar. It seems Jammu Kashmir very comfortably settling towards Farooq Abdullah, Omar Abdullah and the Congress. 39-8 versus 28 for the BJP. How are you reading this verdict?
Pretty much expected. If you were to look at it from a valley-centric perspective or from J&K itself, also mirrors what we saw in the parliament. So there's a very clear divide now. But not that it has been in unison ever, but now it's much sharper with Jammu voting one way and the Valley voting another way. It was widely expected, particularly after what had happened in 2019, both in terms of the constitutional status and the statehood. It was expected that the Valley would vote one way. And
no, but what's also very important is that these, for example, the AIP, which had Engineer Rashid and the Jamaat candidates are leading only on one seat, which is the Rafiabad seat, and the others are on 8, which includes 2 for the People's Conference, none for the Apni party. So some of these smaller experiments seem to have come a cropper.
That's right. True in the parliament as well. Most of them lost the security deposit.
No, but Engineer Rashid won.
Yeah, Engineer Rashid was an exception at that point of time, that's right. But I think in terms of whether it's the Aam Aadmi, Apni party, or it's the
People's
Conference, or you see the traction has never been built. So this was one of the things that was tried in the Valley, was to fragment the Valley votes. Right? So this is, you have to also understand that these are not comparable figures between what happened last time, because between last time and now, there is delimitation that has happened, right? So there's a rearrangement of constituency that has happened. Jammu has gained more seats than Valley has gained. So the smaller parties was basically a strategy to fragment the Valley votes, which could not have been fragmented through delimitation.
But the other trend, which is important, is that the fall in the vote share of the PDP is very apparent. The PDP, which had 26% of the vote share last time, has fallen by 18% down to only 8. The BJP is up to 27, up 7. The NC and the Congress are at 38. But this is the biggest fall in vote share that we've seen in these elections. It's a collapse of the PDP vote. You understand this party well. What do you think happened?
No, actually, I think PDP has done relatively well.
In what way? So you're down 18%?
No, you have to understand what happened after 2019.
Sure.
PDP was decimated. Out of the 10 cabinet ministers, 7 moved out, right? So nobody expected PDP to do perhaps more than 2 or 3 seats. Forget the vote share for a moment. But the entire party was decimated. And it goes to the credit that at least if they're managing to win 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 seats and retain an 8% share, 2 months back, 3 months back was inconceivable. So they have done well compared to where they were post-2019. Vis-a-vis 2014, yes, there is a thing, but that was a different era.
But in these numbers, do you think the PDP will ally with the NC and the Congress? Because they don't need. 48 is the majority, even if I include 5 LG-nominated members. Yes. So the NC Congress at this moment have a majority. Would they want to take these 5 PDP members in your view or not?
Well, we are getting conflicting signals from Dr. Abdullah and Omar. Perhaps a little premature on part of Dr. Abdullah, but there has been a general sense that PDP would support, even if it's not required.
But the sense is that while PDP may support, now you don't need PDP in your government. With these numbers, I would take some independents. I'll take PDP support. But are you worried about what many people in Kashmir have told me, the growing divide between the valley and Jammu? If anything, I mean, it's not the first time that we've seen it, but at least when y'all were in power, you were able to strike a relationship between Jammu and the valley. You had a deputy chief minister of the BJP, a chief minister. That may not, I mean, are you worried that this election has only thrown up the widening divide, Hasib, between Jammu and the valley?
That has been a historical fact, Rajdeep.
Is that going to make it more difficult to govern?
It's much more difficult for a variety of reasons, and I'll come to that. But before we go there, the 2014 alliance, which was seen as a North Pole, South Pole, was primarily driven by the fact that PDP did not have a single member of the Legislative Assembly from Jammu. How can you run a state where half the state is not represented in the government? That was one major reason, which, besides other reasons as well. So, quite apart from the fact that Jammu and Kashmir are different in every single way, whether it's linguistics, whether it's politics, whether it's ethnicity, all of these, and this has been a historical fact. So to that extent, it will be difficult. But what I'm really worried about is how stable, A, this government will be. Why do you think it will not be stable? 2, how will they run the government with Jammu not being in government? I don't know how many
No,
members out of the
I have
48.
that. In Jammu, it's not as if the NC and the Congress have been decimated. They have 11 leads currently, 8 for the NC, 3 for the Congress. So especially in the Indarwal, Naushera, Rajouri, Ramban,
So let's look at, Rahul, can we look at the numbers, say how much has the INC, NC got in Pir Panchal and in Chenab Valley? That will be a critical factor. So don't look at Jammu as one unit. Look at it in 3 units. One, the Chenab Valley, which is mixed population where gerrymandering happened. Constituencies were changed. Look at Pir Panchal, which is again an important segment, and then Jammu plains, right? Within valley, look at typically South Kashmir, North Kashmir, Central Kashmir. So one needs to understand what numbers have come in from Chenab Valley and Pir Panchal. Traditionally, Congress would do very well in Chenab, largely because of Ghulam Nabi Azad, which is where he comes from. Now, he being out of the party, and there's been some movement outside his party as well. How well has Congress done there? And how well has NC done in Poonch and Rajouri, which actually was where NC would get bulk of its seats in the Jammu region. NC has been the only party that's a pan-state party. But somehow in the 1990s, 96, they gave up Jammu to Congress in an alliance, which has somehow continued, and they have lost that pan-JK status.
No, but we have that data. For example, they're winning in Poonch, they're winning in Doda, they're winning in Indarwal, they're winning in Mendhar, they're winning in Naushera, they're winning in Nagseni, they're winning in Ramban. So, so it's not as if they've been hammered. Yes. The BJP has 27 leads in Jammu. The Congress and the NC have 11.
So,
there's some representation.
That way there is some representation.
It's not marginal representation.
Yes.
When do you expect statehood to be restored?
Well, honestly, I wouldn't hazard a guess on that, but governance with BJP at the center would be a difficult task. And now, what is the incentive for the BJP to grant statehood at this point of time? What leverage does the state government have? So it's going to be a very difficult thing to run this government, given the fact that this is closer to being a municipality than being a state. So all the legislative powers have been taken away. The home police has now been given back to the center. So there is a different regime in operation which will affect how effective this government will be.
Okay, well, Rahul, I know you're looking at Jammu and Kashmir. I just want to say, because Haryana becomes, so critical at the moment, the vote share gap is 2%, which was 3% about an hour ago. So if anything, the BJP has narrowed the vote share. So recent votes have it would seemingly the BJP is getting a disproportionate share. The only hope that the Congress has at the moment, if they have hope, is that in the seats less than 1,000, the BJP leads in 6, the Congress in 4.
But they started questioning, Rajdeep, the data again. Supriya Srinath of the Congress has tweeted to say, ये trend बदलेगा. Election Commission की website data update नहीं कर रही. हमारे data में Congress आगे तस्वीर बदलेगी.
No, but what is their data? The only data you can go by, unless they've got some special data we don't have. The only thing is less than 5,000, Congress leading in 20, BJP in 25. With about 10, 12 rounds to go, all the 5,000, less than 5,000 can change. I don't think anything else will change dramatically. Less than 10,000, if you look at, the BJP is up in 39, 29. So effectively, the BJP is going to be around 40. That's certain. That's almost certain.
They could also be 50 plus.
Yeah, so but more likely at least 40 to 48. This range. For the Congress to go up from 36 to 45 is going to be very difficult now. So for the Congress to become single largest is becoming more and more difficult.
It shows once again how the Congress is basically piggybacking on the NC, where they were in a direct duel with the BJP. They seem to have been bested again.
Yep. No, I don't think, even within the NC, there was a great desire to partner with the Congress in terms of an alliance. Perhaps NC would have done better if Congress was not an ally there, and they could have probably gotten more seats within the valley.
But there's no real way of knowing that.
Yeah, there's no real way of knowing it. But two things become very clear. One is, as you said, and that's absolutely right, is that the smaller party experiment has failed. There's no question about that. And BJP has managed to retain Jammu, because the important fact is that after the abrogation of 370, if any part of the state was affected, it was Jammu, in terms of business.
Where are you getting this?
So, and if you go back in history, the Act of 1928 was meant for Jammu, to protect the Jammu citizens. I think that's where it's credible on part of BJP, because till about a couple of months ago, nobody was giving Jammu, BJP more than 12 to 15 seats in Jammu, and they've come up to 28.
Iltija Mufti in Bij Bihara, on the family bastion of the PDP, trailing. She seems to be conceding defeat. What do you make of that?
Mehbooba also lost Bij Bihara. Even in the parliament elections, nobody voted in Bij Bihara. Perhaps trying to atone for the sins of having allied with BJP. It's not gone down well with it. I was instrumental in that alliance, and how difficult it was, I know. Do
you think that's really what marred the PDP's credibility with the voters in the valley?
Without doubt.
You haven't recovered since?
Haven't recovered, absolutely.
आपने डुबा दिया और आप बॉम्बे चले गए?
नहीं, I was not before that. It was a very well thought out decision, and as I said, what was being discussed, that it would have been impossible to run the state without Jammu being on board. And today now you have a semblance of representation from Poonch, Rajouri and others. That was important. Because
in your understanding, will Omar become chief minister, or he'll say, till it's a UT, it makes no sense for me to be CM? Or you think he'll take what he gets?
Fought from 2 seats. You see, you also have to give it to NC that this is the only party that has not suffered any losses in terms of people. 5 years. Now go back to 14. 10 years without power. Huge efforts to split the party, or people just desert. Like PDP, it was an overnight affair. One fine morning, out of 10 cabinet ministers, 7 walk across and join Altaf Bukhari, who's also a minister and former party. Now look at it from that perspective. NC has not lost a single politician to any other party, and that is a huge thing.
Why do you think this smaller party experiment has come a cropper in Jammu Kashmir?
They're all seen as being allies of the BJP. It's a fact. They're all being seen as proxies. So it's, in fact, the major kind of discussion in the elections, both Parliament and Assembly, has been accusing each of the parties accusing the other of being a proxy of the BJP.
No, but do you think because this happened during the Lok Sabha elections and Engineer Rashid won, which is why the likes of Farooq and Omar Abdullah were able to communicate this to voters in Kashmir, that if Engineer Rashid, Altaf Bukhari, these people win, then it will be advantage BJP. That message they were able to drive home.
It would have been very difficult, very, very difficult in my understanding, for anybody to do an alliance with BJP at this stage. After 2019. It's not just about 370, it's about reorganizing the state, it's about reorganizing the constituencies, it's about giving more seats to Jammu. The difference at some point was 13, is down to 4. Those 4 are mapped by extraneous
5
nominations. So the system has been geared towards instability. It must go to the credit to the Valley voters that they have voted one way, which is NC. Because NC, if you recollect, contested only 33 seats in the Valley. 11 went to Congress. So if you were to see it from that perspective, they have done very well. So it's a very mature kind of voting from the Valley side. And similarly on the Jammu side, it's just one way, which is like BJP is getting 28, 29, whatever the number is now.
In Jammu, the BJP's got 27, down 3 from the last time.
Yeah.
The NC and the Congress are at 11, up 3 from the last time. Sorry?
In Jammu,
No, because we did an extrapolation converting 87 into 90.
87 into 90.
Otherwise, they're not comparable. So we went down to every counting center.
That's a good clarification, though.
Looked at the. Otherwise, you won't be able to compare. Otherwise, I can't show a swing from the last election. So you've kind of made apples and apples.
Perfect.
Otherwise, you're not comparing this fairly.
The total number of seats has increased.
Yeah.
The number of seats in Jammu has increased disproportionately. So to that extent, those elements need to be factored in.
But the good thing is democracy is back, elections are back, and there is a clear verdict.
There is a clear
the people
verdict.
have voiced their opinion very, very clearly.
A clear verdict becomes even more important because the system has been designed for instability, if you see it from that perspective. But going forward, will this actually be the beginning of the end of bifurcation?
Why do you say that?
Because now what will connect Jammu and Kashmir? Now, this is something that needs to be thought through. You cannot have a system whereby one part of a state or a UT or whatever you want to call it is completely out of 27 people or more are just don't get represented in that thing. Nothing from Jammu comes in. How many ministers will come in? The good thing being that Rajouri, Poonch and others are a part of it. So you see, there again, the important part is that in the delimitation exercise or even the parliament exercise, a part of Jammu, which is Rajouri and Poonch, was merged with South Kashmir. Anantnag, right? So that also has an impact. So are you then saying that now that part is closer to the valley, at least for electoral politics, if it's relevant for parliament?
No, but that's an artificial creation. You've got a mountain range in the middle.
Is an artificial creation. The whole state was an artificial creation. Let's look at it, Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh. It was done in 1846 for different reasons. The point I'm trying to make is, some bits of Jammu, we tend to see Jammu as being BJP and Valley being whatever else. The fact remains, within Jammu, there are pockets like the Pir Panchal, like the Chenab Valley, which are A, Muslim-dominated, B, closer to the valley, both in language, linguistics, culture, and all that. So at some point, this is going to become an issue that is this, there are a lot of differences between Jammu and Kashmir, both geographically, ethnically, linguistically, now politically. Will you be able to keep the state for governance purposes is a question that needs to be asked. So you have created a system of instability, but does that hurt the governance of the state? Because at the end of the day, Rajdeep, it's not about electoral arithmetic. It's how are you going to run the state?
And particularly because you said that the assembly, as most people believe, doesn't even have the powers of a strong municipality. Right. So what is the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, whoever does, what is he going to do? Will the centre give statehood, which we don't know whether they would give in the near future, even though they promised, either of which will create a lot of problems of governance, expectations not being met, the tussles between LG and Chief Minister of the kind that we've seen in Delhi, repeating in Kashmir could have it. So Kashmir is about the complications. Yes. While NC may celebrate reaching 50, half century, which will give them an element of comfort, the NC Congress, the fact of the matter is, the real question marks continue to remain in Haryana. I was just speaking to a Dainik Bhaskar journalist and he said there were 33 seats. He's the editor of their Panipat edition and across Haryana. 33 seats which are less than 5,000. He says anything that can happen will happen in those 33 seats. That will what will decide Haryana. His own belief is both these parties will now be in the range of where they, roughly around where they are. One could be 5 less, one could be 5 more. But effectively, the BJP still remains in pole position now to form a government in Haryana. He also was raising questions about EC, increasing voter turnout in the last couple of days. But, those are questions that political parties will have to answer. At the end of the day, the EC will tell us that they do now turn out in real time. So
Last night they did.
Like they did in the Lok Sabha. So that can increase voter turnout. But as of now, I think the 33 seats, Rahul, many of them in the Jat heartland will decide.
We have some data, Rajdeep. 1.40 crore voters voted. 40 lakh votes have been counted. 1 crore votes still to be counted. So less than 30% of the votes have been counted. 70% are to be counted in the subsequent rounds. But the leads are consolidating. And you're also a numbers guy. So when the leads consolidate in this fashion, do you see any possibility of a turnaround? Or do you think it's more or less settled, a couple of seats up or a couple of seats down?
I would go along with the view that this is too large a lead to it now overturned.
And this, Rajat, is the first piece of political good news the BJP has had since the 4th of June. Everything seemingly was going wrong for them. To be able to win Haryana suddenly changes the narrative. Maharashtra, Jharkhand, Bihar, Delhi, they hit it with that much more gusto.
And BJP's supporters are more emotional than the Congress ones.
तो उनके क्या है?
थोड़ा सा sinusoidal ज़्यादा चलता है तो थोड़ा जल्दी हताश होते हैं. But then now this will be a big booster for them, and you will see in Maharashtra where they, a lot of them have been saying like, okay, no decision is going our way. Suddenly you'll see them to be more upbeat and fighting for that every single, small vote percentages here and there.
The fact that they've retained Jammu.
They've retained Jammu.
Because from a business perspective, I can tell you, on the ground, there is a lot of difficulties that have happened post, even as simple as removing octroi post. A whole lot of Punjab businesses coming into Jammu and doing rice milling and stuff, which has hurt the interests of the Jammuites. So there was a lot of resentment. They have made a lot of ground in the last maybe month and a half through aggressive campaigning, through whatever. Fact remains they have moved from somewhere between 12 to 18 to 27. It's a big jump.
So this is what I was saying since long, that BJP was absolutely pushed against the wall. All odds were against them. They were hoping to get only 12 to 15 seats. Yes. But within 1 month, they worked so hard in Jammu. And I believe similarly, they worked very hard in Haryana as well.
And it has helped the BJP to separate Maharashtra and Haryana. Because then you could put the BJP has the resources, the machine to focus on state by state. So now they focused on Haryana and of course on Jammu, and they get the benefits. Then you move to Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Now the opposition, the Congress won't know where do I put my effort in. Do I put it in Maharashtra or do I put it in Jharkhand? Jharkhand, I'm piggybacking in a way on the JMM. So where do I put my... As of now, there are only 6 seats in Haryana where the margin is less than 1,000. 7 as we speak. 5 the BJP is leading in those, 1 the Congress. So as those are the only seats where I can see a major shift taking place, given the numbers that Rahul is saying. Less than 5,000, there are 41 seats. Now 41 seats less than 5,000, BJP leading in 22, Congress in 17, others in 2. But overall, Rahul, the picture that I can now see emerging is the Congress's best case scenario is to come around 40. The BJP, even at its worst case scenario, will be around 43, 44. And with those independents and the INLD getting 7% of the vote. So while the JJP is being wiped out with just 1% of the vote, INLD is getting 7%. So you could have a situation come the end of the day where...
And BJP is showing its agility. I think the party president, JP Nadda, has already called in a meeting and they are making his outreaches
even need to call in a meeting because INLD...
No, but this is what I'm saying. BJP will ensure that not even a small opening is given to the Congress
because INLD right before was very clear that it would support the BJP.
Right.
It had made it stand clear. The others 8 which are there, out of those 8, 6 are the ones which are going with the BJP.
And the others,
this is history in the making.
And one of the others is Savitri Jindal.
Savitri Jindal and most of them go with the BJP. But this is history in the making.
Clear, it's because of the confirmation bias of many over here that we are stopping from calling this a victory for the BJP, because everybody went out, they thought the Congress ki Andhi, Tufan, Tsunami. But when you're 49 versus 35, leave your personal bias outside the studio, look at the data for what it is. This is a massive historic victory for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
It's a win for the BJP.
It's a massive.
Given the odds, it's a massive
history.
It's history for the BJP.
It's history. No, I don't know what do you mean by confirmation bias outside. We do agree right here that this is history in the making, Rahul, because this is the first time any government in Haryana has consecutively come back for the third term. And you've got to accept it.
And in some ways, the hubris of the Congress for having believed that they'd won this election before they actually had. And the fact that they strutted through this election thinking that this is a battle that they'd already won, that is now proving very costly, because even if from 34 they go up by a couple of seats, the end result is unlikely to change. Nayab Saini is most likely going to be sworn in as Chief Minister once again, and the Bharatiya Janata Party winning Haryana and changing India's political narrative within minutes. This changes the build-up to Maharashtra, this changes the build-up to Delhi, this changes the build-up to Jharkhand, and that is a massive change in the national political equation.
And the BJP is touched 50 now. So the BJP is touched 50, which I think they've only done once before.
They've never done it in Haryana.
During today's...
But this is the first time.
But during today's, for the first time, you've touched the halfway mark since about 2 hours ago.
But Rajdeep, they've bested their 2014 performance.
I can't see it changing now. No. Anything, for this to change will require another miracle. We saw one miracle between 9 and 10. I think the Congress is now clutching at straws in the belief that they are still in the fight in Haryana. I don't know where Supriya Srinath, you said, is getting her numbers, saying our numbers are wrong.
But most of the Congress leaders are saying that now.
Because
most Congress leaders are saying that the EC is not updating numbers, but they're clutching at straws.
Because normally the close contest seats do not go one way. They are normally distributed in the same proportion as the overall tally.
Yeah, and if you look at the number of seats above 5,000, BJP is leading there by 5-6 seats.
10 seats.
10 seats. So it will go in that proportion.
That's the decisive lead which they have got essentially, because that's now
52 of NC.
10 or 14.
No, I'm missing the 52 of NC. I mean, look at how politics has turned. And I think pollsters will have to look at it. Pollsters predicted, look at all, edge for Congress NC in Haryana, clear victory, edge for Congress NC in Kashmir, clear victory in Haryana. What's happening? Exactly. Clear victory for Congress NC as of now in Jammu and Kashmir. And the BJP is winning Haryana. I mean, pollsters need to sort of look at themselves. We need to look at ourselves, of course, but we don't have to put numbers at least.
But Rajdeep, Haryana elections have always, like I said, because we've talked about the jalebi and the jaleb so much, have reflected the jalebi and the jaleb only through consecutive elections in Haryana. Most difficult to predict. And, like I said right in the beginning, that saying in Haryanvi, that is standing true for the BJP.
But the likes of Yogendra Yadav who said it is very certain that the BJP is declining, brand Modi is decimated, it's one more step in the continuation of the end. All that narrative is out of the window. Now, if the BJP gets 48 seats, then the idea that Modi 3.0 is the last Modi government, that now raises a big question.
And no one, it's his home state, but no one is perfect. Look, the same Yogendra Yadav was being feted after Lok Sabha. That he's the only guy who got it right. And Yogendra ji is saying he's also stumped by the numbers as they stand. So, when it comes to these numbers game and translating vote shares into numbers, I think all of us need to take a step back and say, yaar, ye voter pe chhod do, hum us pe na pade. Because the moment you do it, you're seeing, what happens. The margins tighten, elections go either way. And every election now is showing it's very distinct to each other. Jammu and Kashmir is so distinct to what we are seeing taking place in Haryana. Maharashtra will be different again. I maintain none of this will have a major impact apart from momentum. Rajdeep, BJP will have more momentum now.
But momentum is very important.
It is.
Because in Haryana they fought with and the BJP is at its deadliest when it thinks it's losing.
Oh, yes.
When they think haar rahe, lut rahe, pit rahe, which is when the karyakarta gets charged up and they actually make a go for it. When they think they're winning, they're also happy thinking ki 400 par ho gaye, we don't need to do very much. And that's when they lose. It is when you fight with your back to the wall that you have a good chance of winning. 52 for the NC Congress in Jammu and Kashmir. Hasib Drabu, it seems that votes are the new stones.
That's right. It's vote pelting in the valley. We've been saying that the vote is the new stone, and it is pretty much vote pelting happening in the valley, and it's not a bad thing. You've kind of moved into the democratic space. You're using, the power of the votes. So you are voting and voting in unison.
No, but there's so much enthusiasm around Engineer Rashid. Even when he came to our panchayat, there was a lot of enthusiasm around him. People want to get photos.
Yeah, but again, you see, the whole point is that at that stage, he had been held, he's in prison, so there's a lot of sympathy. But I think it was hugely exaggerated in the national media. Locally, it was very evident that Engineer Rashid will make an impact in the parliament. He will certainly not go and have an impact in the thing. First of all, he's not known beyond North Kashmir. Let's first of all see that.
Correct.
South Kashmir was completely a different territory for him. Central Kashmir a different territory from him. Then also, of course, the effective communication that he might not be what he pretends to be and that he is a proxy must have also dented the whole thing.
And it also throws up, Amitabh Tiwari, the question that the Congress, which thought we haven't really worked much on strengthening ourselves on the ground. Yes, Rahul Gandhi had these 2 yatras, but that apart, nothing much has changed. And yet everyone was convinced that the Congress is back. Now it raises questions. If you can't win Chhattisgarh, if you can't win Madhya Pradesh, you can't win Rajasthan, you can't win Haryana either, then where is the Congress back? That let's not count chicken before they are hatched.
Yeah, so essentially, see, what happens after big Modi rallies? There is a lot of ground connect with the voter which the BJP, Panna Pramukhs, etc. do. So what you are essentially hinting at is at that leg after the Bharat Jodo Yatra. So the connect with the voter of the local cadre has been missing, it seems, because the local organization, it still seems to be weak, and there is a sense of overconfidence perhaps in the in the Congress party. They have got 99, but we have all seen that they have been behaving as they have won, and NDA has not won. NDA was a pre-poll alliance, not a post-poll alliance. Correct. There was a setback in terms of seats, and BJP also getting its act together. They realized that these 2 elections will set the tone for Maharashtra, Jharkhand, and even Delhi and Bihar next year. So I think they have worked on the ground silently also, away from media chatter.
No, and remember, Amit Shah didn't do a single interview all through this campaign, not once. He did a couple of briefings for the 100 days of the Modi 3.0 government, but not one interview. Didn't come to any of the panchayats. And there they are, 49-35. I'm sure he'll be out soon, saying, "Achha, batao kya puchna hai."
So that is what the difference is with the Congress. If you see MP also, MP and Chhattisgarh, Congress from starts to behave or say that we are winning, we are winning, we are winning. Whereas the BJP acknowledged both in MP and Chhattisgarh that they are on the back foot, that they are not going to win. And they perhaps took steps to make those changes. Here also, I don't think BJP ever claimed that they are winning this state. They were apprehensive, or they acknowledged the fact that they were on a back foot, and they took necessary steps to make those changes.
But now it means all our analysis that we made. Manohar Lal Khattar was removed too late. Perhaps he was removed just at the right time, you could argue. The analysis that we made that, that the Congress did the right thing by projecting in a way a face, unlike in other states where there's this constant tussle, kaun banega Mukhyamantri, that analysis goes out of the window. The fact that, we thought that by consolidating the Jat vote and the Dalit vote would also come to the to the Congress, that may not have happened. It almost seems as if what the BJP has done is turn around this election, make it more fragmented. I'm presuming that the fragmentation has helped.
Yeah.
The Congress vote share has gone up from all indications to 41%. But because the fragmentation also has taken place simultaneously, all analysis is going out of the window. Everyone is groping to find a reason as to why this has happened.
See, I think if we draw from MP Chhattisgarh example, then what happened in Lok Sabha and what's happening now. Any time any party took for granted their victory, they are basically being pushed back. In Lok Sabha, BJP thought they are basically sweeping through. They got pushed back. And so once you start thinking ahead of yourself and voters, you are going to get...
So hubris, arrogance has been hit both in the Lok Sabha for the BJP and in Haryana for the Congress.
And I think even here in Jammu Kashmir, I think BJP thought that they have an arithmetic on their side, right? All they need to do is get 30 plus seats in Jammu, and then there could be a easily post-coalition alliance. And now it seems that they are stuck below 30. They are even losing seats in Jammu.
At this moment, there's a question about who gets to be the next BJP president. Dharmendra Pradhan has led the BJP as the Prabhari for the state, and within BJP ranks, he'll be quite the star today. In a battle where they had very little chance, Biplab Deb as the Prabhari, Dharmendra Pradhan as the Prabhari, they've led the party to a historic victory. If the BJP is at 50, the Congress is at 34, within BJP ranks his, his own star.
Could he be a future president of the party?
And
given the fact
that you are discussing,
given that he's an organizational man, could he be a future president of the BJP?
I think his names are anyway doing the round for very long time now.
No, but this does his credentials a lot of good because
his credentials have always been there, by the way. I mean, you and me judge in a studio room, but from an ideological perspective, he's been seen as a true ideological foot soldier, always holding the ground no matter what elections. He was also there in Odisha, by the way. He was trying to, continuously keep the momentum going for all these decade-long efforts of BJP that finally resulted in a BJP government. So that is there. Now, I'll come to the point of there is this behavioral analysis wherein bandwagon effect is discussed or a winner takes all. But public never sort of goes with the winner mindset. Like, if somebody is winning the election, let me just go out and vote and make the winner win even by bigger margin. That did not hold in Lok Sabha because BJP was clearly going with a narrative of 400 plus. Had that settled in, public could have thought that, anyway BJP is winning, why should we waste our vote? Let us go out and, kick into that narrative of winner takes all. Did not work there. Even in Haryana, by the way, that winner takes all mindset, which was settled in, ossified by the narrative that Congress is winning.
Only the
Jats did not think, nobody thought
Rajat, only the Congress believed that this was a pro-Congress election. This was not a pro-Congress election.
Everybody that were picking up.
This was a negative vote election, and I think the X factor of the Haryana election will be the independents. Whichever way we look at it.
No, I wanted to make up, since you're talking about how Congress approaches elections, it's extremely curious how Congress contested these elections. First of all, there is no outreach to Jammu. I think Rahul didn't even visit. Yeah. Then you have Mr. Kharge, who doesn't go even a couple of hours into doing a rally, does it by telephone. Most significantly, the president, who is designated in Valley, is from the Valley and not from Jammu. The major story had to be in Jammu, and that's what would cut into BJP. Okay. BJP would not have got
now
26.
Now the Congress is raising questions about data once again. Jairam Ramesh has tweeted, now the data is looking fishy and suspicious. Like the Lok Sabha elections in Haryana, we are witnessing the slowing down of the uploading of up-to-date trends on the Election Commission website. Is the BJP trying to build pressure on the administration by sharing outdated and misleading trends? A very direct charge coming from the communications head of the Congress party, Jairam Ramesh, questioning why data is being uploaded slow on the ECI website.
What does that mean? What does that really mean? I'm not able to understand.
Maja nahi aa raha data dekh.
But how does that change? Whether the data is slow or fast, how does that change?
No, his allegation is that counting is happening faster, it's getting uploaded slow, so it looks as if this trend is settling, whereas actually it is not. That's the charge.
But the result will be the same.
Yeah, the result is not changing the result. My point is, let's assume for a moment that the EC is uploading the data slowly. How does that change the results? Because
no, it doesn't.
Over the last 1.5 hours...
Sir, कुछ तो बोलना पड़ेगा ना. You kept saying 70 आ रही, 80 आ रही, आंधी है, तूफान है, सुनामी है. Now जब 34 है तो क्या बोलो? कुछ तो बोलना है.
A non-Congress India Alliance partner on WhatsApp has said, Congress can't think they are the big boss of India. Others in India, including NC, are winning more than them. Look at how politics works. Suddenly, even the relationship within the India Alliance...
Clearly, it's somebody from the NC.
But please look at how it plays. This morning, Congress looked upbeat. They looked like, they were going to win Haryana, then march into Maharashtra. Maharashtra Congress leader saying, we want to be chief ministers, we are going to be single largest party. All of that has changed in a place of a couple of hours. So I think that equation also between Congress and its own allies will change. I certainly think for the BJP, particularly for Prime Minister Modi, huge boost. The double engine that we spoke about is very much backed. He can now certainly claim that, the double engine is working on all the analysis that we did in the morning about double engine, about Congress Mukt Bharat, about...
You have to do the antithesis of that.
Absolutely. Because the fact is Prime Minister Modi...
So someone should take Rajdeep's posts from this morning, juxtapose them with the ones that come now, and say, kya ho raha? But the fact is, that's just the kind of day it's been. So you can't blame any pollster or pundit because from the morning to now, the verdict has changed. And Haryana really is a very complicated state when it comes to doing surveying because it happened during the Lok Sabha election, soon after in 2019, very big change, and in 2024 as well. Relative to what was expected, the Congress at only 34, the BJP hitting a half-century mark in Haryana, a very commendable performance which changes not just what happens in Haryana, but what happens in Maharashtra and Jharkhand as well.
You know, every state is different from the other. I keep repeating, Rahul. I mean, each state has its own way of doing politics. But what it does, and this is what a strategist of the Mahayuti in Maharashtra is saying, now we have the momentum. This is a huge morale booster to us. So suddenly...
Pawan Khera is speaking at the moment. Let's listen to what he was saying.
खोल दीजिए. सब में उनको 4 राउंड के बाद पीछे दिखाया गया था, जबकि 9 राउंड के बाद वो 4,437 वोटों से आगे हैं, अब 5200 वोटों से आगे हो गई हैं. तो ये आंकड़ों में जो मिसमैच है, गैप है, ये क्यों है, ये हम बार बार चुनाव आयोग से अभी हमारे महासचिव जयराम रमेश जी ने ट्वीट करके भी पूछा है कि ये क्या दबाव डालने की कोशिश हो रही है स्थानीय प्रशासन पर. इसलिए हम फिर से चुनाव आयोग को कह रहे हैं, आगाह कर रहे हैं कि इसमें तुरंत एक्शन ले, तुरंत जितने राउंड्स हो चुके हैं अपडेट करें, जितने भी जो ट्रेंड्स हैं उनको अपडेट किया जाए.
सर किस तरीके की आपको खामियां आपको लगता है या क्या होना चाहिए?
11 राउंड हो चुके हैं, 12 राउंड हो चुके हैं, आप अभी 6ठे या 7वें राउंड पर ही रुके हुए हैं. चैनल्स उसी पर निर्भर कर रहे हैं, चुनाव आयोग के उस पर. रिपोर्टर्स के अपने आंकड़े बाहर आ नहीं रहे हैं. कभी कोई काउंटिंग में ऐसा नहीं होता कि रिपोर्टर्स के अपने आंकड़े बाहर नहीं आते.
Sir, how do you see in the initial trends Congress was leading and now the Congress party is trailing in Haryana and the numbers are favoring BJP only as far as the trends
there is a mismatch in the actual numbers of rounds that have already been counted and the number of rounds that are being shown on television through the Election Commission data. Because the Election Commission data is lagging behind. They are still showing the 4th or the 5th round, whereas 11, 12 rounds have already been counted. Our General Secretary Communication has already tweeted to the Election Commission asking questions. Are they trying to put pressure on the local administration by delaying display of and uploading of data?
But sir, if we see Jammu and Kashmir, they are giving the live numbers, live trends.
Yeah, so see the mismatch between Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir. In Jammu and Kashmir, you are getting live data as for with every round that is being counted. But in Haryana, it's not so. Why?
Okay.
All right, you had Pawan Khera there, who was very, very happy this morning at the Congress headquarters. And suddenly now the Congress there, not just Pawan Khera, Jairam Ramesh has tweeted a short while ago, Supriya Shrinate has tweeted a concerted attempt by the Congress to at least give out the message that, hey, listen, they are questioning the data. They are saying that the EC is very, very slow, while 11 and 12 rounds have happened. And most of the constituencies in Haryana have about 16, some to 20, but usually 16 to 17 rounds of counting takes place. Some go on till 20. Congress is saying 11 and 12 rounds have happened on most of the constituencies there. The EC is only projecting till now round 6. They said that they have spoken with the EC. They're going to go to the EC and ask them at an urgent basis to update that data. But let's cut across to Rohan Gupta, who switched from the Congress to the BJP, and it's a good day, Rohan Gupta, to be in the BJP today. Because if you look at the Haryana numbers of all that was predicted, all that was said, what's coming out right now, very, very favorable for the BJP. You're going to be scripting history.
See, I was happy even in the morning because I am not the person who is after short-term things. I know what is the basic narrative and what is the ideological difference. And I think Rahul is there. Just few days back we were on debate. One thing I told that BJP knows the art of converting anti-incumbency into pro-incumbency. This is the only party in Indian history which can convert even after 10 years anti-incumbency into pro-incumbency. We need to understand the reasons. See, this election is very, very crucial in terms of overall narrative and what has happened on ground. If you see Congress party, their core narrative was Samvidhan. They were dividing the communities into caste. That was their core narrative. But at the same time, their most senior leader, who was Dalit, the way she was giving interview, the people of Haryana realized that if this can happen to us, the same thing will happen to us. They remembered the Jungle Raj before 10 years. One other important thing, after 10 years, BJP changed the CM. There should have been issues within the BJP, but there was no issue. Everybody was together because for them, party is first. Third important thing, BJP never realizes, because I handled the complete war room here, I was in charge of war room, BJP never believes in, Hawaii feedback like exit polls. And this is the death of all the exit polls today in India, let me tell you very frankly, because I am the person of the applied market research, and I know how this exit poll happens. The same person who is responsible on ground does the exit poll for 10 people. This doesn't work. You need to do micromanagement.
No,
BJP ensured that each and every seat dynamics, all seat dynamics were taken care while deciding the candidates. Even after that, the campaigning. Yeah, tell me.
Rohan, you've seen therefore both BJP and Congress closely. You tell us the big difference. Is it the micromanagement? You've been in Gujarat. I remember there was a famous election, 2017, which went to the wire again. And again, the Congress lost that because their micromanagement failed them. Is that the big difference you see when working with the BJP and working with the Congress? BJP focuses on micromanagement. Congress, as you say, is doing Hawa-Hawai.
Absolutely. See, Rajdeep, the decisions in BJP are taken from the ground feedback. In Congress party, decision is taken by few advisors of high command. They sit in AC cabin, somebody informs them something and they take decision. Doesn't work like that. Somebody told high command that, okay, there is one leader who is strong and all other leaders you should ignore. So 72 tickets were given to him without going into that whether that candidate can win or not. The tickets cannot be given on the recommendation of the senior leaders. The tickets should be given from the grassroots feedback. On the other side, if you see BJP, there were many tickets of senior leaders were cut. There was resentment on the ground, but that's fine. They ensured that crisis management is also done. They ensured that they supported the new candidates. That narrative is very important. See, winning after 2 terms is not a simple thing. Riding on anti-incumbency, you tell me which was the last Congress government which can repeat that term. So there is a huge difference here. There was an issue with narrative. They were talking about the national issues. If they were talking about Jawan, Kisan, what happened? And Mahila also. All the 3 narratives failed. Because on the ground situation was different. Haryana is a different state. It is a Chhatris Biradari state. They were doing Jat politics. They were assuming that Jats will vote for Congress. No. Even in Rohtak, BJP is doing better. Because every seat has a different kind of samikaran or the calculations on ground, which BJP understands very well. And never say the attitude of BJP. I must congratulate all BJP workers that till last moment they kept on fighting. The narrative was created at Delhi and High Command that Congress is winning this. No. They ensured that they worked on ground, the candidates worked on ground, the leaders worked on ground, the Karyakartas worked on ground, ensured what are the issues of people, went to people door to door, what was the work done by the last government. And I must congratulate Mr. Nayab Saini. He was the warrior who kept on fighting. He ensured that in 6 months, whatever time he had, he ensured that each and every constituency visited. He ensured the issues which were on ground related to Agnivir or the issues on the ground related to farmers. He ensured that to resolve those issues. And I think this is the big win for BJP. The divide and rule politics of Congress party has completely failed because they are not able to read the ground feedback
Suddenly
of
the BJP
Haryana.
has found its voice and they're sounding charged up. So far, whether they were pundits leaning towards the BJP or netas, they weren't sounding very enthusiastic. Now the mojo is back.
Maushmi Singh with Jairam Ramesh. Let's listen in.
ये दबाव है ना, सरकार की ओर से एक दबाव बनाया जा रहा है।
पर इससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? आपको लगता है कि प्रशासन दबाव में आएगा और क्या आप लोग ने कुछ हिदायत दी है स्टेट यूनिट को?
हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि ईसीआई इस पर हस्तक्षेप करेगी और जो अप टू डेट रुझान है, जो 11 राउंड हो चुके हैं, जो नतीजा आ चुका है, उसको तो निकाले। वो चौथे या 5वें राउंड पर अटके पड़े हुए हैं।
और क्या राज्य यूनिट से बात हुई है आपकी कि वहाँ पे जो उम्मीदवार है वो मौके पर?
हमने ईसीआई से सवाल किया है, ईसीआई को जवाब देना चाहिए।
जी हम अपने सारे काउंटिंग एजेंट्स को भी आह्वान कर रहे हैं कि आप डटे रहिएगा 4 बजे तक, क्योंकि आप पर ये दबाव डालने की कोशिश की जा रही है कि आप हताश होकर निकल जाएं। किसी को हताश होने की जरूरत नहीं है। हम लड़ेंगे आपकी लड़ाई यहाँ चुनाव आयोग से और आप वहाँ डटे रहिएगा।
तो देखिए यहाँ पे आज तक भी लगातार जो आंकड़े हैं वो दिखाए जा रहे हैं और यहाँ पे जयराम रमेश और पवन खेरा, चित्रा और अंजना यही बता रहे हैं कि आज तक में भी जो आंकड़े आ रहे हैं वो ईसीआई की वेबसाइट से आ रहे हैं और वो काफी पीछे चल रहे हैं, जबकि 8 से 10-12 राउंड जो है ग्राउंड पर हो चुके हैं।
Well, it doesn't really make much of a difference because it may be slow. Even if this charge is true, it will ultimately get uploaded to try and make more sense of the charge that's being leveled and why. We're joined by the social media chief of the Congress party, Supriya Shrineth, now joins us. Supriya ji, let's spend a moment trying to explain why you're so agitated about the uploading of data on the Election Commission website. You're saying that the EC is deliberately slowing the uploading down. They're not fiddling with the numbers. Even if this is true, you know, what really is the point that you're looking to make? The EC, of course, denies it, but what's the charge that you're making and why?
So before I answer your direct question on the charge, I do want to remind your viewers and everybody else that there were election results that are coming out from both Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana. In Jammu and Kashmir, the results are coming live after every round, and we are in a formidable position to form the government there. The BJP has been squarely rejected in Jammu and Kashmir. There is a strong message that the people of Jammu and Kashmir have delivered to the BJP and this country. As far as Haryana is concerned, and I will tell you why we are raising the point about data not being updated. The data that's being shown on the Election Commission website is after the 4th or the 5th round, and I can rattle off seat after seat where we are in leading position, where we're being shown to be trailing, whether it's Vinesh Phogat, whether it's Singh, whether it's Aditya Surjewala, various seats, Mahendragarh, we are shown to be trailing those seats, whereas we are actually leading in those seats after 9th, 10th and 11th round, which is
in
why
Aditya Surjewala's case, you are leading.
Ma'am, on the basis of...
But some of what you're saying is
Yeah,
not correct. Aditya Surjewala is leading currently by 8,200 votes.
No, what I'm saying is correct, Rahul. Rahul, what I'm saying is correct. Just about 15 minutes back, he was shown to be trailing. Now he's seen to be leading. Vinesh still shown to be trailing. The discussion that we are going to do over the next few minutes is going to happen on round 5, whereas round 12 is being counted. And which is where we have a problem. Please update the data real time. Like
No, what are your numbers? No, ma'am. If Ma'am, if you are saying that we are actually in round 12 and we are showing round 5, what are your numbers? Are they any different to the numbers we are showing on air?
There are at least... Yes, absolutely. There are at least 8 to 9 seats where we are leading with a margin of over 4,000 votes. And we are seen to be trailing those seats. Mahendragarh is one example. Julana is one example. Let's not...
But Ms. Srinate, even if you say you're leading... Sorry? 1 second, ma'am. If you're saying you're leading in 8